actually can't see that because of the words. Let's change it. So, Mr. Allen, how are you?
Good evening, William.
Christopher, how are you, brother?
Okay, how are you?
Doing pretty good. You got something on topic you'd like to discuss?
I'm guessing that top bit says evolution is false, I'm guessing. I'm sorry, Echo.
Yeah, so I don't have enough room, obviously, to put everything I believe up there. So I believe in microevolution. Microevolution is testable and observable. So
What's microevolution? Exactly.
changes within the same genetic kind, like, dogs having longer hair, shorter hair, but it's still a dog, right? It's trait isolation.
Well, what about evolution do you not believe in?
Micro? I don't believe in
No,
macro
what about
because
Why?
it's not testable and observable. It's all inferred.
Okay. Examples?
You want me to give you examples of something I don't believe in?
Yeah.
How can I get? I don't like examples of something that. Okay, like monkey to man, right? There's no examples of this. It's not testable and observable.
There you go. We don't evolve. It's quite simple. No one with any scientific credibility has ever said that we evolved from monkeys. We evolved from the same line of lineage as apes. Apes, which is a big difference to monkeys. Not for starters. We come from a similar family to apes, not monkeys. So
okay,
banana.
Do you got any proof of that? You got any proof that we come from a similar line then?
Well, you can just look at a gorilla or a chimpanzee, for example. Similar arms, the fact that we both have forward-facing eyes, similar ears, both that we
Yeah, but what about
we
that
both
makes?
grip.
What about that?
But us and chimps both grip. We're 97.7% genetically similar to a chimpanzee.
Fake news, fake news.
Yeah, actually, since they actually done the entire genome on a chimpanzee, yes, it is. Since they done the actual genome, the entirety genome test now, I think in 2024 or 25, it is actually dropping. That's still debated about how much it is, but it is dropping. It's no longer 98. Some people say it's low as 95 now. Some people say it's even lower. But regardless, that wouldn't matter to me none, because you're using similarity. So that proves common designer just as much as it would common ancestor.
The Bible's the truth.
We come from a common ancestor to the chimpanzee. It's not hard to understand.
Okay.
We're anywhere between 95. Of course, with science, things change, but anything between 95 to 97% similar to a chimpanzee.
That would also prove common designer as much as it would common ancestor.
No,
it's not hard to understand.
The Bible is more true than evolution ever will be.
I got you. I got you, Lincoln. I got it.
The Bible
So,
is more true than science.
You think that,
Yeah,
do you? You're a grown adult that believes that the Bible. You believe that. You believe that Adam was made. Adam had was existed, and then he took a rib out of Adam and made Eve.
Yes.
You believe that?
Yes,
You
I
believe
believe
that's a science
everything
fact?
about the Bible. The Bible
And you-
says Adam lived to be 800.
excuse me. All right. And you believe that all the animals in the world come from a rock. So I believe
No.
that Eve come from Adam's rib that God made, and you believe they come from a rock. So can we get back on the topic now?
Well, no, because no. I don't believe we come from a rock. I believe we all come from something. Yeah,
Oh,
but not a rock.
Okay.
You just
oh, I apologize. Do you believe in abiogenesis?
no.
Okay, so you believe in a deity then?
I don't believe in a deity. I believe in the fact that we all evolved from something.
Okay, did life come from non-life?
Sorry.
Did life come from non-life?
Yes. I suppose. Yeah.
Okay, that's abiogenesis. You just said you didn't believe in
Okay.
that.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know all the.
I got you. No
all the
problem.
terms, sorry.
Okay, so are you familiar that evolution teaches that there was a chemical soup, and then lightning basically struck the chemical soup, created amino acids, and then it struck that and created a single-celled organism?
If that's what science teaches, then yeah. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Are you aware that the chemical soup come from dissolved rocks? It rained on the rocks for millions of years. The acidic rain dissolved the rocks into the chemical soup. Are you aware of that?
I need to check your sources, man.
You can.
I
That's the overall. See, the theory states that the Big Bang created. There's two different ways you can go. It's either matter is eternal, or you believe that matter was created in the Big Bang. Either way I go, you can say that the stars formed, and then the stars exploded and created all of the different elements, and the elements coalesced together and enough to make rocky planets basically after the sun's formation. And then the planet was a hot ball of molten rock, and then it rained on the rocks for millions of years. This is how we got our oceans. The acidic rain caused the rocks, because the rocks is what held the minerals, right? The elements, if you will. It caused them to dissolve and turn into a chemical soup. So ultimately, you absolutely do believe you come from a rock.
Yeah, if you're taking it to that basis, yes. It
Yeah.
makes more scientific sense than anything that the Bible comes out of.
Yeah, so let's make sure we recap what we just stated there.
Yes,
So first we
yes, I
said,
believe.
no, I don't. Okay, I got you. But first we said, I don't believe I come from a rock. And then it was, well, I do believe I come from a rock. And us coming from a rock makes more sense than God doing it from Adam and Eve. And you think that makes more sense?
Of course. Yes.
Yeah, you're welcome to believe that, but I appreciate you being honest. I think that's utterly ridiculous to believe that it's more sensible to believe that we come from a rock than it is that God made us. But okay, that's a contention.
So sorry, I've never been more broken. You believe that there was two individuals, right, that God sent down to some garden, nobody knows where. They made man, Adam, and then they took the rib. He took the rib of that, which was her rib, and then he made a woman. You believe that?
Yep. Yeah, let's watch our
And that
language
makes
too.
more sense than the
family
scientific
like this.
process that you went through.
Wait, so man making, or God making a man and then making a woman from life, which would be life from life, you think that's more silly,
that-
if you will, than coming from a rock, which is not testable and observable. So now you can argue with the way that he did it, but what is testable and observable in science is life coming from life. So you can say that, okay, well, but your contention was that Eve come from Adam. Okay, you might disagree with the way that God did it, but I still think that's more than sense. I think that's more sensible than believing that we come from a rock. I don't think that's testable and observable at all.
I think there's more to it than we just came from a rock. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a physicist, but I'm sure there's way more to it than we came from a rock. But you can't now. You can't now.
We did regression, but okay.
You can't now go to a man, take his rib, and make a woman. You can't.
You can't go to a rock and make life.
But there's way more. There's way more to it.
Then give me I'll give you all the ingredients you need for life. All your amino acids, lipids, anything you need for life, I will give you the ingredient. Can they create life?
Of course, yeah. If you got the right thing.
Oh, you think life? You think life has been created?
No.
Wait a minute. So life hasn't been created,
Of course, it's been
but if I gave you
it's been created, but it's not been created by a mystical man in the sky. That's different.
okay, do you have a scientific paper or a study I could look at where they created life? Because this is groundbreaking science stuff right here that you're putting on my panel right here. Nobody's ever known of this until now. Can you give me the example of where they created? And he left. Of course he did.
So you're saying the how under like a natural explanation. The how doesn't make sense, like we came from a rock, but that it makes more sense that we came from God. How did God bring us about?
Well, he's outside of time, space, and matter. You can't put him within the time, space, or matter. It wouldn't make sense. Whatever the first cause, uncause was had to be outside of time, space, and matter.
Okay, so but like, how did he do it though?
Well, he did it with his words according to the Bible.
Okay, so couldn't I just like say the same thing about natural creation of humans? Just like it just came about through the essence of like reality.
No, you'll have to demonstrate. Like you got a dichotomy. You got either evolution or a deity, right?
but-
And so you need to show how natural causes can literally create something from nothing.
But not
If
really,
not, if you
though.
try to,
Yeah, not really though, because under the creationist account, it just says, well, God's essence, or God breathed, or through His nature. So that's really all I have to do for the natural account as well. I just have to say through the nature of reality and the essence of reality. I don't have to go into the detail of the how, because you can't go into the detail of the how.
Let me build
but
on
no,
that real quick.
you're. Hold on one second, brother. What you're doing is you're giving an attribute to physical matter that belongs to a deity. So literally you're just changing the definition of evolution to mean deity. That's not. So if you're going to say natural causes did it, meaning evolution, then you're going to have to give an example about how evolution did it.
Yeah, but
Like
not
the first
really.
cause, uncause has to be outside of the cause, right?
Yeah, but not really,
So
because
Jesus
you're not
Christ
providing
was
any
not a
how.
human?
You're not providing any how of how God does it. So I don't have to provide any how of how it's done.
Okay, so I don't think you understood it. So I'll say it again. So you have a dichotomy, right? The dichotomy is the universe came into existence with there's only two ways, and there's only ever been two ways that's ever been offered. Either the universe came into existence through natural.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on one second. So I apologize for kept getting interrupted. So the universe came into existence either two different ways, and there's only ever been two different ways. He said there's 100, but nobody ever gives anything other than the two different ways. So it's either a deity did it, which would be outside of time, space, and matter. Now, if you asked me to explain that, clearly I couldn't. It's a deity. But if you're going to say that natural causes did it, then we do need some kind of explanation.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm just
give
saying
don't give the same attributes as a deity to natural causes. That's two different definitions. You can't do that.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it just came about naturally.
Okay, can you give me an example of whatever? How did matter come from non-matter naturally?
Yeah, and that would be the parody of your explanation. I would just say, well, I don't go into that part because you accept something vague like through the essence as an explanation. So I would just say it came about naturally.
But I do go into it. I use the definition of the deity to go into it. I say the deity is literally outside of time, space, and matter. This is why he can create time, space, and matter. Because he's outside of it. He's in it, through it, he permeates it.
Yeah, and I
You
would just
can't
say
do that
nature-
with natural causes.
Yeah, I would just say nature is fun. I would just say nature is fundamental, and it's just going to be through the very nature of reality that these things are instantiated.
That doesn't make sense. You're just I mean, if you say I don't know is a perfectly reasonable answer. I don't know. Like, I told you God created it and how the Bible says that he did it, but if you ask me to explain it any more than that, then obviously
Wait.
I'm going to say I clearly don't know. I don't
are
know is
you
a perfectly
saying-
reasonable answer, but you
Are
cannot
you saying
give the
that-
attributes of the deity to creation and say that that's how it happened, or to evolution and say that's how it happened.
Are you saying my answer is insufficient and inadequate?
Yeah, because you're
But it's the
you're
exact
adding
same
the
answer
attributes of
that
a
you
deity.
have. It's the exact same answer you have.
If you're not able to follow, brother, I'm just going to move on because I've told
I
you
would
like
have-
14 times now that you're just taking the attributes of the deity. So you're explaining deity and then you're just adding the word evolution to it. So if you're saying the same thing that I am, you shouldn't be. You should be saying the exact opposite of what I am if you're going with evolution. Now, if you want to change it to deity, then that's fine, but stop calling it evolution because you're giving it the attributes of a deity.
What attributes am I giving it that a deity has?
That can create matter from non-matter.
I'm not saying it was created.
Okay, well, the matter, are you saying the universe or the matter is eternal?
Yeah, it's just fundamental.
Okay, well, that every piece of evidence that we have in the universe shows that that it's not eternal.
No, that's not true.
Okay, can you give me an example of something that's eternal?
Well, no, I'm just saying you said all the evidence we have.
Yeah, sure. Let me give you an example. Has tomorrow happened yet?
No.
Right. So tomorrow hasn't happened yet. Can you add to infinity or eternity?
Can you add? Yeah, you can add to an infinite. You can add.
You can add to an infinite, right? So
Well, let me ask you,
it'd be infinite plus. Hold on, wait a minute. I just want to make sure I got this right, because this is no disrespect. This is one of the stupidest arguments I've ever heard in my life. Can you add to infinity? Yeah, it's infinity
just
plus
Google it.
one.
Just Google it.
I'm not talking about a mathematical equation that helps you get through a theoretical problem. I'm talking about a real. Can you add to infinity?
Yeah, just Google it.
All right. Have a good day, brother. Appreciate you coming. Okay. Yeah. We can add to infinity. You know what? I counted to infinity twice one time. I understand that there's concepts that they use in mathematics. It's concepts. But can you actually add to infinity? Not a concept that helps you get through a mathematical equation. An actual, can you add to infinity? No, you can't. It would be infinity plus one. It'd be no different than me saying that I counted to infinity twice. Outrageous. Outrageous. Yeah, we can add to infinity. Of course we can. Dean, what's up, man?
Hey, hello, mate. It's fine. How are you? No, let me listen. I'm not. Let me have a little chat. Listen to this guy.
All right, fair enough.
If that's okay.
Al Glasses, what's up, brother?
Not much. How you been?
Man, hanging in there, brother. Hanging in there.
I feel that. Let's see. Evolution. I'm assuming, because I can't really see it, I'm assuming it says evolution is false.
Yeah, evolution is false.
The flow was real. Okay. So what makes you think that it's false?
Well, I don't have enough room to put everything I believe on there, obviously, so I believe in microevolution. I think that's testable and observable. But anything outside of that, obviously, I don't.
I guess, then, what's your explanation behind the fact that all life on the planet is related?
Can you give me an example of life being related? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, down to, like, a DNA level. All life in some way is related on the planet.
Well, similarities wouldn't prove relation.
No, that's similarities. Like, down to a genetic level, we are related in some way to...
Well, not to a genetic level. Our genetics shows that we have a mitochondrial Eve, and she was a human. Bonobos have a mitochondrial Eve that was bonobo. Gorillas have one that was gorillas. So we can trace our mitochondrial DNA to a human. It's not fair to say that we can trace it to an ape. That's not true. So what you're doing when you go to that is you're using similarities in DNA. Now, I would grant that there's plenty of similarities in DNA, but that's not the same as genetics to say that we came from them. That's not the same.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess my question to you then would be, if evolution were true, what do you think the evidence would look like?
Genetic information gain. It has to be genetic because you got to be able to pass it on to your children, new information as far as new structures, new functions, new code, new DNA, and then obviously they have to be gained from something that wasn't there before.
So do you think, like, for example, like a fossil record showing change over time could be counted as evidence?
No, not the fossil record, because you're just using shapes and assumptions. Literally what you're doing is you're just lining up these shapes, and then you're putting assumptions on those shapes. You're saying this looks like that, so therefore they're related.
Okay, so my question is to you then. We know that, for example, wolves did not exist back when dinosaurs were around. So how did wolves come into existence?
Well, how do you know that? Because dinosaurs they lived about 4,500 years ago. A little bit before that. Well, you got soft tissue and DNA in dinosaurs that says otherwise. Because soft tissue, we know what the collagen degradation rates are, and we're finding that all over the place. And now we're starting to find DNA, and we know the half-life of that is 500 years. So,
we're not finding DNA. We're not finding DNA.
Sure. Would you like me to give you the paper?
And this is from a peer-reviewed, accepted study?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And also,
Name
how
of
do
this-
you discount, for example, like how are you going to accept that from a scientific source, but discount the numerous dating methods that we have that all state that fossils are millions of years old?
Because I can look at, I don't care what they say. I care about the science. Appreciate the stickers,
Okay,
guys.
and
Thank you for
the
support.
science says that it's millions of years old.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. Scientists say that it's millions of years old. Actual science doesn't. Now, there's different ways of interpreting it, so let me make sure that I'm clear what I'm saying here. Like, for example, what I just talked about Mary Schweitzer. She's not a young Earth creationist by any means. She's the first person that found dinosaur soft tissue, right? In her papers, she constantly states that this is 65 million years old. Personally, she states that. But the paper is what I care about, the actual peer-reviewed scientific paper. And even though the paper itself says we believe this is 65 million years old, they openly admit they don't have the degradation rate to get it out that far. So, yeah.
Okay, but then again, if you want to go with the science, again, we have multiple dating methods and it goes beyond just carbon dating. We have multiple dating methods that all point to the age of the Earth. I'm assuming you believe the Earth is 6,000 years old.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I'd say less than 10,000, but yeah, close.
Okay, and I'm assuming you think the Earth is flat.
No, I don't think the Earth is flat.
Okay, why do you think the Earth is not flat, but you believe the Earth is 6,000 years old?
Don't run from the topic, brother. We're on that. I don't do the flat Earth stuff. There's plenty of TikTokers on here that you can go argue with about the flat Earth stuff. I'm not running from it, but clearly we're on a topic. Let's stay where we're at so that we don't have to get off of that. I don't believe the Earth is flat.
Okay,
So,
yeah, I was just trying to get a more introspective on why you believe certain things with the others. I guess, for example, then what I'm saying is, for the age of the Earth, again, dating methods show, like, for example, ice cores show that it is older than 6,000 years old. We have multiple ways to date the Earth.
Well, the ice cores actually don't show that. So the part that you're doing that's testable and observable actually shows that it's about 10,000 years old. Then you have to add a lot of inference on it past that. I can give you examples. Like the layering in the ice core, we can get known dates by volcano eruptions. So, and we can do it with known volcano eruptions. One of them, I can give you, actually, if you like, I can pull it up for you. But we know that one volcano erupted in 1787. And then we know that another one erupted in 1887, so it was 100 years apart, and we can determine on an average, and we can do this with several different volcanoes, we can determine on an average how much ice formed in those years, because we can trace these isotopes in these specific lines and say, okay, this one's from this eruption, and this layer over here is from this eruption. On the known volcanic date eruptions, not the one that's inferred that we have to believe erupted hundreds of thousands of years ago, but the ones that we can test and observe in the last several hundred years, or thousand if you want to, that we've literally, mankind has tested and observed, we can get the rate of compaction, if you will. And then we can extrapolate from that it's actually about 10,000 years or less older. It's not hundreds of thousands of years.
I mean,
And
even then,
the way
wouldn't that discount 6,000 then?
Well, once you get there's a layer in the ice called the firn layer. Okay, so when the ice comes down, it makes fluffy snow on top of it. The heavier you get, obviously, then it's going to start compacting that. So anything in the just at the firn layer or above the firn layer, you're going to have these lines. When it starts to get much deeper than the firn layer, then the ice is compressed so much that there's no layers in it anymore. You can't just go in there and say, okay, this layer, this layer, this layer, this layer, like you can on the top. So you don't know that there wasn't a whole bunch of ice, like the flood, that might have been several hundred feet thick, and that's what you're starting with 4,000 years ago. So you're starting with, ice that's maybe a couple of hundred feet thick. And then after the flood, because that flood deposited that water, then you're starting on top of that. So if you looked at it more, then it would look around 10,000.
So,
But 10,000 is a lot closer to 100,000, right? Or 10,000 is a lot closer to 6,000 than it is 100,000, right?
yeah, but it would still show that what is claimed in the Bible isn't true, despite the fact that it's supposed to be true according to the claims of the people that follow it.
What about what I just said disproves the Bible?
Well, if the Bible is claiming that the Earth is only about 6,000 years old, and it's in fact 4,000 years older than that, then
Well,
that would show an
there-
inconsistency in the Bible. And not only that, if you want to go,
It's
talk
not.
about the
It's
flood-
not inconsistent. Hold on. Let me address that because it's not inconsistent. I literally just gave you the explanation for that. That you're not starting on straight bedrock and then doing the snow accumulations. We clearly believe that there was a flood. So clearly that flood might have laid down several hundred feet of ice, and then you're starting from that.
Well, I have an
So let's not
explanation
breeze past
for
that.
well, as for the flood part, if you take the amount of water it takes and the amount of time it would have taken to flood the Earth like that, you realize that the amount of heat that would have been generated would have vaporized pretty much most of the water on the planet, right?
The amount of heat from what?
The amount of heat that it would have taken to rain that much water to flood the entire Earth in that time span, it
Yeah.
would have heated up the entire atmosphere to the point that everything would have
Yeah.
been fried.
Yeah, it absolutely would have. I don't know who told you that it did that, but yeah, that's a straw man because you're attacking something the Bible clearly doesn't say. So yeah, I would agree with you, but it has no bearing on the flood.
Okay, so how was the word world flood?
It says it rained for 40 days and for 40 nights, but the water continued to rise for over 150 days. So I'm going to ask you just a very simple clarifying question. Did the majority of the water come from the rain, if that's the case?
It doesn't
Clearly,
say
no.
Well, it doesn't say either one in the Bible.
It does. I'm going to give you the answer. I just want to make sure we can follow along logically before, so I can get you that you can understand the answer, right? So if it rained for 40 days and for 40 nights, but the water continued to rise for over 150 days, then I understand that after it rains, you might have water continue to rise a little bit, but that's because it's running off of the land and into the water. But you're not going to have that continue to rise for 150 days if all of the water came from the rain, correct?
And why would the water be rising?
All right, brother. If we can't answer simple questions, there's no sense in continuing the conversation because I know
it
you
doesn't
can't
make
follow.
sense. Well, it doesn't make sense. The water would be rising for 150 days. Why would
I know,
it be
but
rising
if
for
you can,
150 days?
I will, brother. I told you, I promise you, I will answer that. If I just want to make sure that you can answer questions directly and follow simple concepts. And if you can't, then the conversation doesn't need to go forward because I'm literally just asking you, and it's like you're doing everything you can not to answer the question. This is not a conversation if you can't just answer it. If it rained for 40 days and for 40 nights, and the water continued to rise for over 150 days, did the water come from the rain? Once you answer this, I can show you where it come from.
If it rained for 40 days, and it continued to rise for 150 days, did the water come from the rain? Well, no, it'd have to come from some magical place, I guess.
Okay, so the Bible says that the fountains of the deep broke open. So it says in the book of Genesis. You can say you don't believe it, but you can't say the Bible doesn't teach it. Thank you for finally answering the very simple question. So it says that the fountains of the deep broke open, and this is where the majority of the water come from, the fountains of the deep. So this is what when the earth cracked open, the water come out from underneath the fountains of the deep, and this is what caused the water to continue to rise even after it only rained for 40 days and for 40 nights. So your heat problem's not a problem at all because literally the water didn't come from the rain. This is an internet argument from people that has never read the Bible.
Okay, and where are these fountains of the deep? Why haven't we found them?
We have found them. You can go to the deepest parts of the ocean, and you know what a black smoker is? Hydrothermal vents at the bottom of the ocean, they're called black smokers.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you another very simple question. If there's hydrothermal vents at the very bottom of the ocean, what has to be under that's spewing out hot water? What has to be under that?
Well, typically heat.
And what? If it's throwing out water, then water has to be under that, right?
Well, hydrothermal vents, you're talking about if it's going down to, I guess you could say, more of a magma layer.
No, it's not the hydrothermal vents. They're called black smokers. You can see these, like I said, in the bottom of the Marianas Trench and stuff, and they look like towers because they have minerals in them also, and a lot of crayfish and stuff hang on to these things, and that's where we're finding life at the very bottom of the ocean. Again, they're called black smokers. So we see that hot water is coming out of these. So again, if hot water is coming out of them, that means that there's a layer of water beneath that, right?
We have never discovered that, so no.
Okay. All right. Well, it's okay to say you don't know, but yeah, we've discovered hot water vents. Again, they're called black smokers. And if you don't know that, that's fine. But yes, that's absolutely true. They absolutely exist.
So,
You ever dig a well?
creation can have growth.
Yeah, but we've never discovered this magical layer of water that's underneath.
Have you ever dug a well?
Have I ever dug a well?
Yep.
Creation.
That water don't come from a river.
I got you. Hold on, dude. Yeah. So
Yeah.
and there
How
is.
Anything
There's-
similar to the fact of this mythical, like, underground
Ow.
water?
Al, when you say things like mythical and then you don't know, and this is not a jab, don't take it as a jab. I'm not saying that you just don't know what you're talking about. There's more than 2 oceans worth of
That's
water
the
right
guy
now
that
still in the
thinks
crust of the earth.
Earth is 6,000 years old, man.
Says a guy that thinks he believes he come from a rock.
I don't think I came from a rock.
Wait, hold on. I thought you said you believed in evolution.
I do believe in evolution.
Okay, so you believe in abiogenesis without God, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so abiogenesis came from the chemical soup, right? Lightning struck the chemical soup, created amino acids, and amino acids eventually turned into single-celled organisms, right? Done this with the Urey Miller experiment, right? Where the chemical soup, lightning struck it, created amino acids. Am I correct?
I don't know if it's exactly lightning striking it. I don't know the exact price.
Well, energy,
Yeah,
but the energy hit the chemical soup, right? Okay, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Where did the chemical soup come from? Do you know what that teaches?
I don't know where this chemical soup came from. No.
Yeah, so the hot magma, and again, I'll help you out, no problem. The Earth in evolutionary terms was a hot ball of magma, and it literally rained on the Earth for millions of years. This is where oceans come from. The acidic rain caused it to dissolve the rocks. You literally believe you come from a rock, Hero.
Got him.
No, I don't. And also, you could say that you believe that you come from dirt, since that's what God made Adam.
100%. And watch me say this here. Yes, sir, absolutely. I believe that God took the dirt and made man. 100% you are correct. I'm not running from that. I'm not scared of it. On the other hand, though, you believe you come from a rock, and you're sitting here avidly advocating that you don't, and we literally just walked through it, and you agreed with me, and then when we came to the conclusion, you go, I don't believe that.
Are chemical reactions rocks?
Did the chemical reactions happen in the chemical soup? Yes. Where did the chemical soup come from? Yeah, we're playing the regression game here. That come from the rocks, right? Dissolving the rocks, right?
We don't know that precisely.
We don't know. Oh, so where'd the chemical soup come from then, Hero? You gotta have these the chemicals there. Where did it come from?
We don't know precisely.
We don't know. Yeah, we do know. The theory is.
Running.
Yeah. Boy, you don't like it now. It's okay, man. You'd be like the last guy.
It's perfectly fine to say that you don't know exactly where something came from instead of.
Yeah, but see, here's my. It
do.
is perfectly fine to say that, but that's not what you said to begin with. You literally walked with me through the steps, and you agreed with me on every single step, and then you disagreed with the conclusion of the steps. That's the problem. Hey, do you believe in abiogenesis? Yes, sir, I do. Okay, so do you believe that energy? Because you even contended with me, it might not have been lightning, so then I changed it from lightning to energy. I'm not straw manning. I'm literally giving you the this is what evolutionists believe. I'm not straw manning it. This is what they believe.
Okay, so here's a question for you then.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. Let me land. Energy came from energy caused lightning, or if you don't want to use lightning, but energy struck or hit the chemical soup, which created amino acids. And amino acids, either energy or lightning or something like that, hit that and cause that to form in a single-celled organism. This is literally what abiogenesis teaches. I know y'all teach this because this is the Urey Miller experiment. We know that this is the evolutionary thought process when it comes to abiogenesis. So where did the chemical soup come from? It come from rain dissolving the rocks for millions of years. You believe you come from a rock. Just embrace it, man. Be careful when you go step outside. You don't want to step on Grandpa.
I mean, to say that we came from a rock because chemicals came together that were once part of sediment or whatever you want to call it, does not mean that we came from a rock. It would be coming from a chemical process called abiogenesis. That's what it would be.
Well, the chemical process has to have a beginning, brother. That beginning is a rock.
Well,
now, the reason why I did...
I could also say that you think that you come from nothing. Like, you think you come from nothing.
No, I believe I come from God. That's literally not nothing. But the reason why we got here, Al... Al, the reason why we got here is because you said a condescending remark and made like I was believing in a fairy tale, and I literally just showed you that you believe you come from a rock. So now we've got our shots in.
And I'm going to show you that you think that you come from nothing. All right. So what is God made
Okay.
of?
What is God made of? I have no idea. How can I answer that? It's a God question.
Okay. And then what did God make the universe out of?
He didn't make it out of anything.
Okay, so he made the universe out of nothing. Therefore, you regress to
No, no. He didn't make it out of nothing.
Look at that.
He didn't have anything.
That's the same process.
Oh yeah, it's the same process. Yep, you nailed me. You got it.
You just admitted that God created the universe from nothing, which means that if you regress back, just like the rock analogy, you were made from nothing.
So you can't be made from nothing because nothing is not an ingredient there, champ. Okay, nothing is literally the absence of a thing. Nothing means no
The universe was
thing.
made from nothing.
Right. So it's either a deity or evolution. This is not the own you think it is,
That's
man.
not
Right?
that's not
Because
the
you
only
either
thing.
have
Can I have a go?
you got a deity or I'm gonna get right in here in a second. You got a deity or evolution, and literally what you're just doing is you're applying deity to evolution.
And you think that you came from nothing, as we just showed.
If you wanna imply that, then okay, still fine. My deity used nothing. Your deity used a rock.
Well, I don't have a deity.
Okay, well then, it's still rock. Any way you want to go. Your faith system used a rock.
And you think that you came from nothing. How can you make something from nothing?
You can keep doing that, but again, you're literally just taking the definition of deity and you're adding it to nothing.
Can you
Yeah.
make something from nothing? Yes or no?
No. Nope.
Okay, then how did God make the universe out of nothing, like you just said?
Then how'd the universe come into existence, hero?
You're
You're dodging the question. How did God make?
I've already answered that twice now. I'm not running from it. I've answered it. So now that I've answered it, how did the universe come into existence?
You didn't
I
answer
did.
why. Okay, then how did he do it? How did God make the universe from nothing?
He spoke it into existence. How did the universe come into existence if you already conceded that something can't be made from nothing? You've conceded that now, so how did the universe come into existence, champ?
It didn't. It always
something
existed.
from nothing.
Okay, so the evidence shows that it didn't always exist.
No, the evidence shows that matter cannot be created nor destroyed. Henceforth, the universe has always existed. You cannot create matter.
Okay, can you add to infinity?
Yes.
Some infinities are technically greater than
Yes,
others.
you
The
can.
infinity
You can
between
have
one
Guys,
and
please don't. What is wrong with y'all evolutionists? Can you add to infinity? Yeah, it's infinity
Yes,
plus
yes.
one. I've added to
Can
infinity.
I answer the question?
Absolutely.
Yes, you can.
100% you can.
Okay, Dean. Hey, Dean, go count to infinity, Dean, and then you can come back up on the stage and try it again. Go count to infinity twice, and then you can come back up.
If you literally let us answer. If you,
I hadn't been letting you answer, Al. I know you're such a victim. I hadn't been letting you answer this whole time.
If you count the infinity between 1 and 2 is technically smaller than the infinity between 1 and
That's nonsensical. If it's
It's a
infinity, it can't be
mathematical
bigger or smaller, man.
mathematical fact.
He made better sense
Uh-oh.
with a rock.
Yeah, you can add. You can add to infinity. You are the third evolutionist in the last
And this-
hour
and
that
this is
literally
just a
stated
dodge.
you can add to infinity.
You said that he spoke it into existence. How did he do that?
He's a deity.
Okay, so he can make things from nothing. You think things could be made from nothing?
That's the only way that it can happen. Now,
did
because
nothing
there's a
if it's God?
All right.
Hold on one second, brother. Hold on a second, brother. So that's the deity. That's the dichotomy. Excuse me. That's the dichotomy that you have. It's either the universe came into existence through a deity, or it came into existence through evolution. The deity would create
what?
it from non-matter.
No.
Okay. That's not. Okay. Do you have another example that's not evolution or not a deity? Then No, not yet.
Did you just say the universe was made by evolution? Is that what you just said?
it's either going to be natural causes, which would be evolution, right?
No,
Or it's going to be
a. Not made by evolution. That's a nonsensical statement that shows you have no idea what evolution even is.
Great, Al. I don't. Can you give me the example then?
Example of how the universe would have came into being?
Yes. So evolution, I'm putting that on natural causes. That's what evolutionists believe, natural causes. So there's the dichotomy. It either came into existence through natural causes, which would be evolution. If you want to name it something else, fine. Name it something. Okay,
always-
but you don't have any proof of that. We literally see
We have
Newton's
matter
second law of thermodynamics. Okay, Al, I appreciate it, man. I am going to move on. I'm not going to do this. We can add to
Hey,
infinity
run away,
argument.
man.
That's just stupid.
Run away, man. Go ahead.
I'm telling you out front. So if you have anything additional, I'll let you.
Talk to Al for a
All right.
second.
Read off the bro.
No, you can't. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to keep doing that. We can add to infinity process. If you're not smart enough to follow the conversation and you're literally going to say that we can add to infinity. I'm not talking about mathematical concepts. I know a concept, you can do anything with a concept. I'm talking about literally, physically. Can you add to eternity or can you add to infinity? No, you can't. I'm not talking about a mathematical concept that you might help you get through your math problem. I'm talking about physical. Can you add to infinity or add to eternally? No, you can't. That's the third evolutionist that I've had up here today that say, yeah, you can add to infinity. It's crazy. Crazy talk.
I think you should have
All right,
asked him why he's calling God nothing.
I was. I literally said that like 14 times, brother. I literally stated that he is giving the attributes of God to his definition of nothing.
I think if he would have stated it like that way, he would have been stuck. Like, how is God nothing?
Oh, he was stuck. He was stuck. That's why he. That's why he was answering things like, "You can add to infinity." If you can add to infinity, you couldn't. It wouldn't be infinity.
Yeah.
What's up, brother? You doing all right? You are. I'm not going to say the rest of your name. You got your mic on, brother?
Yeah, I was told I wasn't understanding the engagement, so
What you
I
got?
understand that.
Hey, before y'all get started,
don't-
kick me off the stage. I don't know how to do that.
Oh, I fully understand.
got you, brother.
I'm being told I don't understand in the chat, but that's cool. I mean, either way.
Understand what? I'm a little lost. What are you lost? What are you not understanding?
No, I was following the other chat with the.
Oh, okay.
I looped back around on. But
All right, let's watch our
Never mind.
language, guys. I don't want to
yeah, it's all
keep
good.
making a.
My bad, brother.
You're all right. So, you got anything on the topic?
Nah, I'm.
Okay. Well, if you don't got nothing on the topic, thanks for coming. Appreciate you. Let's see. I take it you agree with me, Alf?
Yeah.
Alfie?
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try to do some ops today. Okay, brother. I appreciate you coming. Okay.
All right, dude.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Vlady, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
I'm hanging in there, man. What you got?
Sure. So I'm in kind of evolution is not my strong point. I'm not a biologist, but I'm a scientist, and
Cool.
my work relates very closely to the formation of galaxies, stars, planets, stellar systems. So it might
Okay.
be interesting at least to hear what evidence you want, and I'll provide it to you.
Evidence of evolution through the galaxy?
Yeah, we have galactic evolution, but I'm sure that's not the topic. There is
No,
a
I mean
thing called-
yeah, stellar evolution and cosmic evolution.
yeah. That's kind of what my research is based on.
All right, so I'll ask this. You've got two gas molecules according to Big Bang, right? You got hydrogen and helium in the early universe. We know that hot gas expands several times its own gravitational weight, right? So what outside gravity or what outside gravitational force caused the stars to collapse in on each other to create nuclear fission? Because you got hydrogen and helium. Once that gas gets hot, it's going to expand. Once it expands, it's going to get cold. So how do you get a star forming?
Sure. Okay. So when it comes to stellar formation, this is not really a problem we face because the model doesn't work the way you described it. The way it actually works is there is an inflationary expansion of space-time, not of matter, of space-time. And the confusion comes in when you understand the model as the matter expanding the way a gas expands when it heats up. So those molecules, right, if you only had two, helium and hydrogen or whatever, would be subject to one force, gravity, and not to two opposing forces, one stretching it one way, the other way, right? Does that clear it up?
No, you answered a question I didn't ask at all. So does it? And I could be wrong. I'm not a big stellar guy, so it's one of the least things I study. So I'm more of an evolutionist guy. You're more the stellar guy. All right. So does it not teach that when the Big Bang happened, it created the two elements, hydrogen and helium, and a little bit of lithium. But the main two gases that it created during the Big Bang was hydrogen and helium. And the hydrogen and helium got together basically through static electricity, and then through their own gravitational weight collapsed in and created the first stars. Am I correct in that?
Kind of, but what you just described is quite inaccurate of how it happened.
Okay, well, help me out, because I really hadn't described anything other than just what y'all walking it through it. The
Okay, let's first
expansion
start. Mm-hmm.
of space caused hydrogen and helium through the Big Bang. Is that right?
No, the expansion of space didn't cause hydrogen and helium.
Through the Big Bang's what I said. The Big Bang was the expansion of space. So the Big Bang created hydrogen and helium, right?
Well, the Big Bang isn't something creating something, it's something that happened, right? It's a point in time. A point in time doesn't create something.
A point in time. So was there time before the Big Bang?
Well, there is no such thing as before the Big Bang according to our model.
So the answer is no.
No, the answer is the way you frame the question doesn't fit with the model.
It does. There's no such thing as time before the Big Bang, and you literally just stated, yeah, there's no such thing as before the Big Bang, so the way that I phrased it was actually correct, and you answered it. Thank you. There was no time before the Big Bang.
You asked whether something was there before the Big Bang, and I told you there
I
was no
said
such thing
time,
as
not
before.
something. I didn't say thing, I said time. I said, was there time before the Big Bang? Not a
Not
thing.
a
A thing
thing.
would be matter. So there's no
sorry.
time.
According to cosmology, time is a thing. It's not just matter that exists. There are things other than matter that also exists.
I would agree with you that it's more than a concept. I would agree with that. But as far as matter, it's not matter. It's woven into space time according to Einstein, right?
Just the question is your whole way of rebattling the Big Bang by playing word games, or do you have actual arguments at the
I'm the only one that's following right here right now. I don't know if you've noticed what's happened in the last couple of minutes or not, but you might want to come back and watch your clip back later. I'm the only one that's done that. I've made a statement as far as saying this is what you guys believe, and then you said no, that's not what we believe, and then you answered a question that I didn't ask that had nothing to do with star formation. So then I got you back on track, and you can watch your clip back. That's 100% what happened. You answered a question that had nothing to do with star formation. So then I got you back on topic and said, okay, does it teach the Big Bang created hydrogen and helium? And so far you've refused to answer that, or in stating that you're going off on these side rabbit trails. So I would like to get back on the topic, because I was trying to ask you a question. Does the Big Bang teach that does evolution teach that the Big Bang created hydrogen or helium? Hydrogen and helium, excuse me.
Evolution doesn't teach the creation of hydrogen and helium.
Okay, so if they wasn't created through the Big Bang, then how did they get here?
That's not what I said. I said evolution doesn't teach it. You're referring to
We
the
just
model.
you at the very start, brother. You got. I'm losing my patience with you very quickly. At the very start of this conversation, you conceded to me that there's different types of evolution, and I even said, yeah, stellar evolution. This would fall in the concept of stellar evolution. If you keep doing this word game stuff with me, man, there's no way you're a scientist. There's just no way. If you're a scientist and you can't follow okay, I'll go look you up, brother. Okay, go have a good day. Okay, utterly ridiculous. Complete waste of time. You're a scientist, my butt. Complete waste of time. Complete waste of time.
I would say I was a theologist.
Yeah,
Thank you, man. That's true.
My strong opinion on the creation portion of this.
Yeah, he
is
literally.
the technology
Yeah, I'm gonna
that
get to you
evolved from
soon. Yeah, he literally come in here, and the first things out of his mouth is, I'm not good with the biological side of evolution, but there's different kinds of evolution. And I conceded and said, yes, there's stellar evolution. And then when I keep asking the same question that for some reason he just keeps refusing to answer is, does the Big Bang teach that it created, or does evolution teach that it created hydrogen and helium through the Big Bang? The answer to that, guys, is clearly yes, unequivocally, without a doubt. But getting some of these evolutionists to answer a straightforward question is like pulling teeth. Shane, I'm sorry, man. What's up, brother?
And not much. Evolution is a very clear fact. We got it through music, colonization, eras, and in technology. I was born in '89. I've been able to see the rise of technology from there to now. And that's not as good as what everybody thinks it is. But
okay, I believe in microevolution. That would be micro, just technologies and stuff like that. That would be micro, so I believe in that.
Yeah, that's clear evidence.
Well, I believe in micro, so yeah, that is evidence. I believe in microevolution, so microevolution would be testable and observable. So I don't believe in macroevolution.
He was asking him how to make a star, or how a star could be formed. I've always had this picture in my head of an oscillating rings with magnets in them. And when they're oscillating, they're firing off at the direct center point of the sphere itself.
I got you. Hey, Twin Dragon, I'm going to move you down. I'm looking for ops today, okay?
Go ahead. I just wanted to comment on that guy, but he left.
I got you.
They'll
I'm
create a
looking for
magnetic
ops
field and plasma bolt right in the center of the sphere as it's spinning. And that's how I think a star actually gets started, or a core.
So you think that the hydrogen and helium started spinning and created a magma bolt?
No, I'm saying if you want to take it to technology, because I strongly believe technology was involved at the beginning. You can't tell me somebody could wave his hand and make things happen. That's not how it works.
Where did the technology? Okay, where did the technology come from then?
He came here and made it. He had the technology from another advanced civilization.
Sure. Okay, where did that advanced civilization get their technology?
They learned like we did. Started out from scratch.
Okay, so how did they evolve then? You're still going to an infinite regress problem, brother.
It is an infinite regress. It just keeps going. If the Big Bang Theory is correct, then if we looked at our star system, we should be able to see the scatter from the explosion.
Well, the Big Bang is the Big Bang is literally the start. So when I keep asking people that they utterly outrageously ask, they answer this so stupidly. You cannot add to infinity. So my point is tomorrow hasn't came yet. This is evidence that the universe had a beginning, right? Even if I was to concede that the Big Bang was an absolute real thing, it shows that it has a beginning, right? We see the universe expanding. If we play it backwards, then it means it had a beginning. Time itself had to have a beginning because you can't add to eternity. So you can't add a day onto eternity, right? So the fact that tomorrow hasn't happened yet, we're going to be adding a day to when tomorrow comes, right? We're going to be adding it on there. We literally just added 2 seconds onto infinity right now while we're waiting. We just added 2 more right now. Because you cannot add to infinity. Well, it's.
How do you have a? There is a conception that time actually has always existed, and we are simply experiencing a part of time. That only.
Okay, that would be like a predestination argument. Okay, so then that would be like a predestination argument, saying that everything that you've already done everything that you're going to do.
Yeah, you have. You're just experiencing it.
Yeah, so that's I think that's like the definition of a deity. You have no control over your existence because what you're already going to do has already been done. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
That's like a predestination. I don't know where the other guy went, but that's like a predestination argument. You're literally just taking on. We don't see that, right? That's just a concept. Right. Well, I mean, it's a concept, but okay. But do you have any way of proving your theory?
Do you have any way of proving yours?
Yes, I'm literally just asserting that. Like, here's my theory. You cannot add. You cannot add to time. No, it's not that I'm assuming it. It's we know. Would you
prove time is linear?
Okay. It always goes forwards. It's never gone backwards.
No, that's an assumption.
Okay. Okay. The fact that you remember, I'm going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if you can remember that I started at 1, you can remember in the past. If I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to count to a disclosed number, and I'm not going to tell you what the number is, the fact that you don't know the number because it hasn't happened yet, it's in the future, right, shows you that time is moving forward, not backwards.
No, it's not, that's not how it works. That's literally not how it works.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it, Will, but I'm going to move on. I'm not having this conversation today.
Yeah, you're going to move on because your entire line.
Yeah, I'm going to move on. I know. I'm so scared of y'all. Just go tell your friends. Hey, this guy, creation, flood, and end times that usually smokes people in debates. I got him today. I really got him. I showed him that time it doesn't go forward. It doesn't go backwards. It's just here. You brought no evidence. I brought evidence, right? I brought evidence. I'm showing you that time is going forward. You brought no evidence. You brought a concept. I'm just not. Wow. It seems like whenever I have these conversations, and you guys in the comments tell me if this is the same thing. Now, you can say I rage quit. Like I said, go post it on your page. Tell everybody you smoked evolution or creation, flood, and end times in a debate, and you got me, man. You're the one person that I'll say now that actually you got me. Absolutely ridiculous. Don't have to bring any evidence. You don't have to bring any proof. You just bring a concept up literally that can't be proved, and you're just saying that I'm running from the conversation. Yeah, absolutely. I'm running from that conversation because it's outrageously stupid, and I'm not willing to have it. But for the other guys in the comments, y'all notice that it goes in waves. Like, a lot of people talk about the same things. I don't know if it's like the algorithm that kind of feeds people in here, but I've had today 3 people right off back to back that's literally said stuff like, you can add to infinity. You can add to eternity. And now they're saying things like, oh, well, time's not linear. That's a concept. You can't prove that at all. Utterly ridiculous. Hi guys, looking for some ops, and please, let's have a good conversation. Don't bring up anybody wanting to come up. Don't come up here and start telling me that the universe, you can add to infinity. You're not going to make it long on the stage. I just don't have the patience for that today. Maybe it's because I've been doing this for a little while. My patience is already running thin. So I do apologize if it seems like I'm running thin, but I don't want to have a conversation for somebody stating that they can count to infinity twice. I think that's a stupid argument, and I'm not looking for that today. So. Thank you for the support, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah. I don't know where the other guy went. I think I preferred his theory of aliens. I think that made more sense than we can add to infinity or time is not linear. So I can even go into Einstein's theory of general relativity about how time slows down the closer it gets to a black hole, right? But it doesn't stop and it doesn't go backwards. You know what that means, Hero? It means that it's linear. It means that it's always moving forward, right? So there's literally no way that you can prove that time's not linear. But all the testable and observable evidence that we have clearly shows that it is. Utterly ridiculous. Just as a reminder, guys, I will be going on, like I said, I usually go live every Monday and every Thursday. But I decided to go live again today because I will be on vacation next week, so I'm not going to be able to go live next week. Do me a favor, guys, hit the heart button and the share, and let's try to get me pushed out in the algorithm. I'd like to be able to have at least an engaging conversation with somebody today. Not a scientist that don't understand, or claims he's a scientist and don't understand anything about cosmic evolution. Nisht, what's up, man? Oh, and now he's gone. All right, it's weird. Christians, like I said, guys, I do appreciate the Christians in the chat. I know I usually have a large panel, but like I said, just a reminder, I'm going to try to narrow it down and see how this goes. I might go back to my more open panels later, but right now I'm just trying to narrow it down and see how it goes. I'm looking for ops today. Eddie, what's up, man?
Ops? Oh, man, how you doing? What's an ops?
Hanging in there, brother. Oppositions, you know.
Oh, okay. That ain't me.
Oh, you agree with me? Evolution is false. The flood was real, and pre-tribulation isn't biblical.
Okay, the people.
Listen,
He should have let you get it, and then you would have had to
there's
teach him.
floods. There's been quite a few floods. You know what I mean? I know the one we're
You wanna
talking
talk to
about. I know I do not believe in evolution in any way, shape, form, or fashion. There's only one power, and that's the omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient God, creator of everything that
I got a
exists.
homeboy right down
Throughout
in
all
Greenville, right
the
around
universe
from
you wanna play.
Tow Yard. Remember Tow Yard?
Every particle of
I got
dust,
you,
every
brother.
atom,
Yep, sure
everything,
will.
man, 100%.
All right, man. Well, yeah, I appreciate you, brother.
He gonna blow.
Appreciate you too, man. Good
All
work.
right, man. Have a good one.
What I need.
You too.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, way too much background noise. The population was larger than brown crickets. Must have missed that one. Guys, y'all don't got to stay in the comments and have debates. I got an open panel. You guys are free to step up and have a conversation. I mean, I don't mind if you don't have a mic or something, you want to stay in the comments, that's fine. Ron Wyatt, my opinion. Yeah, great. Ron Wyatt found a lot of things. I've went over his webpage on my live here before. I think he is one of the better Christian archaeologists, if you will, that I've ever seen. He's found a lot of biblical sites. But they're towards the end, and he makes claims that I can't prove. Some people say that when he started running out of money to do all these archaeological sites, that he failed a lie detector test and stuff like that. I don't know if that's true or not. There's reports out there saying that he did, but I can verify some of the things that he found. Obviously, on his webpage, you can actually go to these sites and see that it's true. Where he found where the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, the Pillar of Solomon that was erected there to show that this happened. Some people believe that the Noah site, when you see the new archaeological digs and stuff that they're doing over there, right now they're doing it with radar, but they're planning on digging later, if I'm not mistaken, in Turkey at the Noah's Ark site, if you will. That was actually discovered, if I'm not mistaken, by Ron Wyatt. But he's made some claims that I just can't verify. Like, he's claimed that they found the Ark of the Covenant and he turned it over to the Jewish authorities, and that they tested the blood that was the cross was supposed to be above it, and there was some tunnels that was down below it, and that Jesus's blood ran off of the cross into the cracks and then down and dripped onto the Ark of the Covenant and the mercy seat. And they tested it, and it only had the DNA markers for having a mother, but no biological father, obviously. And that he said the blood was still alive and all this stuff. There's no way I can verify any of that, because clearly nobody's coming out and saying it. So I do like the stuff that he has found that we can verify, but obviously I can't verify everything. So that's why I usually don't bring him up, just because he's a source of contention. And his credibility is kind of, I mean, if you found the Ark of the Covenant, I understand you're going to turn it over to the Jewish authorities because clearly it's on their land, but you wouldn't take a picture, you wouldn't archive that in any way, like all of your other trips you did. Why wouldn't you do that one? Is it Jane? Can't see your whole name there. Written in cursive. Javon, what does it say?
It's Avan.
Avan. Okay, what's up, brother? You doing all right?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Doing good.
All right. I'd like to debate you with evolution.
Okay, well, I would prefer a conversation, but I'm not afraid of a debate, okay? I believe in microevolution.
No, I don't believe in that.
Okay, I believe in microevolution, which is testable and observable.
Now, What is microevolution? Explain it to me.
Microevolution is let's take trait isolation, and you're either encouraging that trait or you're discouraging that trait. Like a dog with longer hair or shorter hair.
Right.
I don't know if that was a troll. It wasn't a very good troll, but I don't know. I think if you're a troll, I think the point is to make me look stupid. Wes, what's up, man?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm hanging in there, brother. I'm hanging in there.
There you go. So I'd like to maybe kind of dive in specifically more to like the flood. You're probably a lot more knowledgeable on all this stuff than I am, but one question that I've always had is about like societies that, you know, are described as ancient, like something like Egypt. You know, if a flood wiped out those societies, how can we account for you know, the continuity as far as in the thriving of society, or pharaohs being in succession one after the other?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if we're doing the succession thing, is we know that they lied clearly about their succession to exaggerate their rule. We've got plenty of evidence showing this. Now, as far as could we prove it, as far as their succession, no, we can't, because the oldest writings are post-flood, so they're not pre-flood. So the writings that we have are literally just claiming that these civilizations went back farther, but the actual writings themselves are clearly after the flood. Some of the oldest ones, I think, are on Chinese bones, and they date back to the time of the flood.
Got it. Okay, so you don't think we have any type of legit documentation, you know, not necessarily just who was reigning at the time, but any type of archaeology or anything that shows any type of continuity, is, you know, during that time?
Well, continuity, it depends on how you define that. So, like, you got what's verifiable and what's not. So if we're going to say continuity, I think it should be verifiable. And the verifiable stuff literally goes to the flood. It doesn't go back beyond that. That's what's verifiable. There's plenty of stuff written down saying that it goes back beyond that, but it's not verifiable. The verifiable stuff goes back to the flood. And then when you say stuff like archaeology, I would have to determine what dating techniques are they using in an effort to try to say that it's older or pre-flood.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not an expert. I'd probably have to go look online and see if I could find any type of writings or this or that. But I don't know. I just also think it's a stretch to say that, you know, civilizations completely stopped and then we were able to repopulate from 8 people or whatever the, you know, Noah story is. But I mean,
well, we can show this through our. Yeah, I got you. We can show this kind of though through our mitochondrial DNA, that at least every person alive on the planet today can trace their mitochondrial DNA to one female. So it's not a stretch to say that we could repopulate from 8 people, because everybody on the planet today did it from one person. It's called mitochondrial Eve.
Yeah, no, I've heard of the mitochondrial Eve. Okay. Yeah, man, I kind of just wanted to have a little conversation. There's questions that I have, and I'm by no means an expert, but I thought those were some different, you know, pretty good questions that you can maybe hear your side of it, and I guess that makes sense. So I'll have to do a little more research and see what I can come up with. But
yeah, man, appreciate it. If you have any additional questions or whatever, hit me up. I'll try to. I'm not going to say I'll have the answer, but I'll try to answer them best I can.
Sorry, I just got a call. Yeah, I'm right back at you, man. I appreciate it, y'all. I'll continue to watch and maybe request up sometime again soon. I know you said you're going out of town next week or whatever, but I'll follow you and join back up another time.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
All right, no problem.
All right. Yes, sir. Yeah. So to the comment in the comments that says there are numerous mitochondrial Eves. So there are numerous mitochondrial Eves, but not for humans. There's only one human mitochondrial Eve. There's bonobos have a mitochondrial Eve. Chimpanzees have a mitochondrial Eve. Gorillas have. I would imagine that most of your species on the planet would probably have a mitochondrial Eve, meaning they can trace it back to an original ancestor. I would imagine that's true. But I do know for a fact that there are several mitochondrial Eves, but not for humans. There's only one mitochondrial Eve for a human, and it goes back to a human. It doesn't go back to an ape or a bonobo or anything like that. It goes back to a human. I didn't fail to add that. You got two different types of, so the comment, guys, it says, I failed to add that the ancestor was dated back to 200,000 years ago. Now, watch this right here, because this is funny, and you can look this up. So there's two different types of dating techniques when you go to when they look back at mitochondrial Eve. There's what they call substitution calculations, and then there's pedigree calculations. Okay, it's the mutation rate within the DNA and the mitochondrial DNA, and they say, okay, this is the mutation rate, so we can deduce that basically from every generation there's 100 mutations. From you to your mother, there's 100 mutations. And then when you have a child, there's going to be 100 more mutations added to that child, basically. Well, you can look at how many mutations have been added to that, and that's how they get back to the original, they count back. So if you know the mutation rate, like I said, 100 per generation, then you can calculate that. Okay, so the substitution rate looks at the mutation rate, and they look at something that's fixed within the mitochondrial, and that's no longer a mutation that has become fixed. And they say, okay, we believe that this used to be a mutation, but it no longer has the hallmarks of a mutation, so now it's fixed, right? And then they calculate how long they believe it would take for that mutation to become fixed. It's not testable, it's not observable, it's all inference. You're literally looking at that going, okay, we believe that it probably took 10,000 years for this mutation to become fixed. We're looking at it now, it's fixed within the mitochondrial DNA, but we're believing that it took 10,000 years and it used to be a mutation. Then you got and that calculation rate goes to 100,000 years plus, like almost 200,000 years. And the reason why they do that is because they're literally just making it up. They just think this is what the calculation rate is, or this used to be a mutation and now it's fixed. But you can actually do what they call pedigree calculations, and you can. This was done in Greenland or Iceland or something like that. It's been done numerous times now, where they've actually tested the known. This is pedigree calculations. They've actually got tens of thousands of samples from people to where they've tested the mutation rate going back from generation to generation to generation. This is testable and observable because, again, they actually used real people with real calculations, right? Again, I think it was in Greenland or Iceland or one of those. You can look it up for yourself, where they use this. And again, tens of thousands of people. So with that being said, those calculation rates of known mutations, the known mutation rate, actually gets mitochondrial Eve back anywhere from 10,000 to 6,000 years ago. Uh-oh. So when you say I failed to mention that, no, it doesn't help you out now, brother, because again, the evolutionist has to use something that's not testable and not observable in an effort to get their long, long periods of time. Because if we use testable and observable science, mitochondrial Eve goes back anywhere between 10,000 to 6,000 years. Uh-oh. Looks like testable, observable science shows a young Earth again. All right, guys, do me a favor, hit the heart and share if you don't mind. Try to get me pushed out in the algorithm. It's a weird day today. It's an off day. Maybe it's just because I'm doing it on an unscheduled time, but it's really weird. I'm getting a lot of really weird guests that think they can add to infinity or come up, say they want to debate me and agree with me and leave. Evolution is a fact. All right, we'll step up on the stage, man. I'm not going to beat you up or anything. Step up on the stage. We'll have a conversation. Because I believe in microevolution. I think I would agree with you if that's what we're talking about as far as evolution is concerned. I would agree with you that microevolution is absolutely a fact. That's testable and observable. But anything outside of that, host is a liar. What do I lie about, man? It's pretty harsh to call me a liar. So, you made a claim. Can you support the claim that I lied about something? I'm sure that I've been misinformed about stuff before, but lying implies motive. So I'm not lying about anything. But I would like for you to support that claim, brother. So I'll look for you in the comments to be able to support the claim that I lied about something. I think that evolutionary biology is a lie. Well, I don't think it's that broad. I don't think that. I wouldn't go as far as to say that. I don't want to put motive on people that may not be there, right? I don't want to call people liars. I think they're mistaken, and I think a lot of them are. I don't think they're all lying. Some of them clearly may be. And that goes with anybody. Some people may be clearly lying. I don't think all evolutionary biologists are lying. I think that they're mistaken. I don't think that they're all lying. I think that they're wrong, and I think that they're coming to an opposing viewpoint from the evidence. Like, I can give you an example. Like I said earlier, Mary Schweitzer, her paper, they constantly keep saying that that dinosaurs' soft tissue, that they're finding this soft tissue and DNA and fragments in dinosaurs, but yet they still keep saying the dinosaurs are 65 million years old. Now, the science that they're doing literally shows that it cannot be 65 million years old. So in her paper, she keeps stating that it is 65 million years old, which is against the degradation rates, known testable science. So we got a couple of options. She could be lying about it, but I don't think she's a liar. Thank you. Appreciate the support. I don't think she's lying about it. I think that she's indoctrinated so much because you're always told, no matter what, that this is an unequivocal, proven fact that dinosaurs lived 65 million years ago. So when you see something that goes against that, you just automatically think that it was, all right, Splinter Gay, I don't mind opposition in the comments, brother, but I gave you an option. You're going to have to tell me what I lied about because you keep making accusations. So I know you're in the comments, you're not on the stage, but unfortunately, you're going to have to support that accusation. And if you don't, I'm going to have to block you from the channel because I can't have people coming in here and just making, outrageous statements without supporting. You can disagree with me all day long, brother. You can disagree with me, but you got to be able to support your claim, man. So you got to support that claim and show where I lied. And if you don't, or at least try to support it, I'm going to have to remove you from the page. Okay. All right. Yeah, let me go ahead and get rid of you here and block you out. You can have all kinds of debates and stuff in your channel, but I removed him. You got, I got rules on here, right? So I try to monitor the chat best I can, but no cussing, right? Use TikTok language, answer questions directly, and if you make a claim, you have to support the claim. Back off of the claim or say, I don't know. I don't know is a perfectly reasonable answer. But I appreciate the people in the chat that are having their own side conversations. I do. I want the side debate to go on down there too. I like that. I really do. I like that engagement. But what I don't want to happen is if you make some claims, guys, come on, you got to support those claims. You can't come in here and just be calling people liars, and then literally don't support that claim at all. Don't support that claim at all. All right, guys. Let's see. I'm going to open up the panel. And any Christians or anything that want to come up, I hadn't gotten engagement for a little while, so if you're a Christian, you have any questions or anything like that, you're free to come up. We'll see what we can get. Donald Brown, what's up, man? And he left too. Weird. Tony, what's up, brother?
What's up, Will? What's going on, baby boy?
Man, I'm hanging in there, brother.
Man, you getting a mixed bag today, bro.
I had yesterday when I started off, I had some great conversations to start off with, but after that, I did not. I did not. Curtis, what's up, brother?
So bad, man.
Hi, Nathan. Tony, I think you and I might have gotten off on the wrong track. So I'm not sure, Tony, of what I'm saying here, but I got the sense in our dialogue yesterday or the days on other panels that you might have thought I wasn't a Christian or we weren't on the same. Anyway, that can happen. Wires get confused. But
yeah, no problem, brother. We're good. If you're
I'm
on the
definitely
same
a follower of Christ.
Good, man. No problem.
Yeah,
brother.
we are. I know. And in text, things can be misinterpreted, and I may have misinterpreted. You may have. So anyway, we're on the same team. I just wanted you to know that.
Okay,
hi, Nathan. And creation did. If you don't want to give me your name, but I thought you told me your name was Justin. Did I not? Am I not remembering?
My name's William Nathaniel.
William. Thank you. Anyway, I've got you booked. I haven't set a date certain, but I was looking. I'm booked out into mid-August, so I'll probably be reaching out to you towards the end of August, and we'll find a day that works for you. I mean, I accommodate my hosts, and I'm really excited for that. I think we can do some really good work together with your science mind and my science mind. We're both coming from the same perspective, which is not common in Christianity to approach things like you and I do, but it's where he sent me, and I sense it's probably where he sent you. And if you're like me, we just do what he tells us.
Amen.
But I'm really, and I don't patronize anybody. I'm really, I think you do great work, and
thank you, man.
You're very well schooled, and and it's not just what we do; it's our demeanor. Are we showing the fruits of the Spirit, or are we arguing and fighting? And I think you and I are very similar in our approach to people, even if they don't agree. And those are actually the ones we're both looking for, are the skeptics and the cynics. As long as they're, my only guideline, William, is basic respect. Human decency, and I noticed you put those same kind of guidelines on. So anyway, I won't stay up. I just wanted to come in and let Tony know that we were on the same page, and I think Nathan knows me, and let you know that I'll be reaching out soon. We'll book sometime in later August if that works for you. If you want, I will be very respectful and judicious, but I would be honored if you'd like to make me a mod when I do come in. I won't send people hiking just because they disagree. My borders are blasphemy or just abject disrespect. And even then, my tendency would be to give them a warning, hey, don't do that or be gone. But if they can't abide by that, but that's up to you. If you want a good mod, I'd be happy to do that when I do drop in. That's your call.
I think that's fair. That's very fair.
Okay.
So yeah.
Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Let's see. I always try to leave with a little humor, William. Did you know it mentions baseball in the Bible?
No.
Tell me the first 4 words out of Genesis. In the big what?
Inning.
The big inning?
The big inning.
I rest my case. Right there out of the gate, we're playing baseball. But by the way, I have heard that unlike reincarnation and or Major League Baseball, we only get 1 out in the big inning. 1 time around the bases, you touch home, you're called home. No 3 outs in the big inning.
There you go.
Thank you, brother.
All right, man. Good seeing you, man.
God bless.
So, God bless you. God bless you. So, if you guys don't know Curtis, he is a, excuse me, right when I went to go talk. I'm glad he mentioned it. I was going to let the conversations, I wasn't going to say nothing until he did because I didn't have permission, but I'm glad he mentioned it. So, he contacted me and he wants me to host him on my page here. If you haven't never seen Curtis's demonstration on the Shroud of Turin, he is the most educated individual that I've ever seen on the Shroud of Turin, and I'd love to have him come on my page. So we're going to set that up, and I'll be announcing that and try to get some people to come in here and watch it. And when I do, you guys make sure that you spread that around. His demonstration on the Shroud of Turin is better than anything I've ever seen. Like if you watch it on a documentary, then they claim to show both sides, but he doesn't. He actually gives you the science, gives you the evidence. You can go look at it for yourself if you want to, but I'll have him on my page in the near future, and I'm very excited about that because his knowledge on the Shroud of Turin. And again, he's not saying that last time I heard him even claim that hey, this might not be actually the shroud that was on Jesus. We're just looking at this from an actual objective standpoint, and then he lets you draw your own conclusion from the evidence. It's not like he's just up here saying this is what it is, 100% unequivocal without a doubt. So I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged about that. I'm excited about it, and more in the future when we set a date. But you guys would definitely have to come here and check that out. What's up, Nathan? You doing all right?
Yeah. I wanted to first say I hope you have a great vacation.
Thank you, sir.
And then, I pretty much pop on every time you go live. And obviously, it's like going back to the beginning, like what was working. I haven't been watching as much. I just feel like sometimes you get too many of the people that are on your side, but sometimes they can get a little wild. And I think the last time I stopped watching was one guy supposed to be a Christian was like, "Oh, he's about to curb stomp you," And I felt like it was it was devolving a little bit, and I know what it's like to be like, well, they're on my side, but like I think you do a good job. I just want you to know, I thought today the way you had it set up was the best I've seen in a while, and I just want to encourage you to, if someone's a Christian and they're gonna jump in and even in a way like ridicule someone, we got to remember that these people, they don't maybe know Christ, and that's kind of part of it. So I just want to encourage you, man, and tell you I liked today. I liked how it was set up, and just keep doing that, man.
Nathan, I really appreciate that. Thank you for that feedback, because that's exactly what I need. And I knew that when I got a little bit bigger, I'm going to have to start narrowing it down, because I don't mind a little bit of a free for all, but yeah, it's getting hard to maintain it. So yeah, I absolutely appreciate that feedback, man. Thank you.
And I appreciate your heart, man. God bless you.
Yeah, God bless, man. God bless. I don't know how to say your name. It's ZEQA.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, man? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Sure, what you got?
So I'm sorry, I can't really read behind, like, the poster there. Does it say? Yeah, I believe in evolution.
Okay. Now, I believe in microevolution. I like to say that off the get. I believe in microevolution because I think that's testable and observable. But anything outside of micro, obviously, I don't see any evidence for. So.
Okay. So, I guess, like, my following question would be, what type of evidence would you like?
Genetic information gain for macroevolution, right? Genetic because it has to be passed on to your children. New information as far as new functions, new structures, new code, new DNA, and then obviously it has to be gained from something that wasn't there before. And I would like it for it to be, if possible, clearly it needs to be testable and observable. That's not inferred.
Okay. So you believe in, like, the standard, like, form of microevolution?
What do you mean by standard form?
So, like, just the sense of, like, do you believe in, I'm pretty sure, like, the Bible does talk, no, not talk about, but, like, you do believe in, like, adaptation and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, the reason you don't believe in macroevolution is because you don't have enough evidence? Would that be?
Yeah, I don't see any evidence for macroevolution.
Okay. So, then my second question would be, like, the type of evolution, the type of evidence you'd like would just be, like, would you want, like, to see it reproduce?
Well, I think it needs to be testable and observable that's not inferred. But, I mean, you're free to, tell me what your best evidence is, and we can have a back and forth on it.
Okay. So, sorry, I'm gonna resign. I'm kinda in a chess game. I'm gonna resign now. I'm pretty sure, I don't want to misquote, but the idea of macroevolution is the change from I'm pretty sure the definition of macroevolution is, like, the change from species to
the ones they use now is ileofrequency change over time. That's the one they use now. That's why I gave you my definition earlier, because obviously I don't want to get in a definition argument, but I'm not going to concede that it's just ileofrequency change over time, because that would be the example of microevolution. So that's why I defined what macroevolution is. So weird. If we had genetic information gain literally happen quadrillions of times if we went from a single-celled organism to a fully functional human, then I just need some evidence of that that's testable and observable, that's not inferred.
Okay, so testable and observable. What do you mean by testable?
Yeah, like something that's gaining a new, like I said, genetic information gain, new functions, new structures, new code, new DNA. Obviously, for something that wasn't there before. Let me give you an example of what can't talk today. Let me give you an example of what a lot of atheists actually bring up, but then it doesn't work. Like, for example, are you familiar with the Linsky experiment, the longest running evolutionary experiment?
No, I'm not.
Sure. So they took E. coli bacteria, and then because E. coli bacteria, and again, evolution is not time-based. I know time's a factor, but it's not time-based. It's generational-based.
Yes.
So if you can have a lot of generations, then you could see evolution happen really fast over time, and that's why they use E. coli bacteria, because you can have up to 9 generations in a single day. So we have done what would be a million years or 2 million years worth of evolution in primates, right? We have replicated that in the same amount of generational count in the Linsky experiment, 80,000, 90,000, probably up to 100,000 now, generations, right? So again, we've done that in the Linsky experiment. It's been going on for the last 41 years. So what we found from that is that the headlines were that the bacteria started, it gained a new function. It started eating citrate. And everybody went around claiming this was evolution in real time. And if you Google it right now, clearly they're going to say that it's evolution. But the reason why it's not evolution is because they already had the ability to eat citrate. They just started eating citrate in an oxygenated environment because of degradation, not information gain. And mutations, and we believe in mutations, but the mutation didn't add any additional information. Again, the ability for them to eat citrate already existed before. So they just started eating citrate in an oxygenated environment. But again, they're degrading, they're not doing it through information gain.
Okay, so personally, I haven't really heard about the Linsky experiment. It sounds interesting. I like to probably dig into it more. I mean, I'd say macroevolution also. I need to dig into more. I'm going to defend the position of evolution. I have the definition pulled up here. So, large-scale evolutionary changes that occur above the level of species. So, I remember the idea, one of my ideas, or one I remember, is that, like, I'm pretty sure there's 2 types of bunnies that now can't reproduce. I'm pretty sure that was a form of macroevolution, though I don't want to misquote it because I don't...
Well, we see this with fruit flies. There's different fruit flies that can no longer reproduce. We also see this with rabbits, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But they're not different... Rabbits, yeah, but they're not different kinds. And again, I don't know the specific mechanism because we hadn't really brought it up. But it's
species.
Well, there's different species, right? But yeah, but they're still a rabbit, and I hadn't produced it's still a rabbit, and them not being able to breed with each other would be an example of degradation, not information gain.
What do you mean by degradation?
Most of the time these things happen, unless you want to bring up a specific example, they're losing information, and it causes them to not, they're differing so far from each other, usually because like a buildup of mutations. This is not a good thing, right? Because mutations eventually will end up unaliving it. So it's either a buildup of mutations or a loss of information that causes these things to happen. And again, I don't have a very specific example that you brought up, so I'm using overarching language as to what most evolutionists claims.
Losing information is evolution, though.
Well, yeah, but then that's why we have to have definitions and we have to have boundaries, because it literally can't be, right? Because if it is, you have no standard for, like, there's nothing I could ever show you, brother, that could disprove evolution to you. Like, for example, I have a standard, right? If evolution was true, it wouldn't disprove God, but it would it would disprove my theory about evolution, right? So if evolution was true, then I gave you my standard. I would need to see genetic information gain. So if evolution is not true, then you should also have to have a standard. And degradation can't be part of the standard as far as evolution being true, because it's a simple math problem, right? You can't go from a single-celled organism to a fully functional human by losing all of your information.
Well, no, but that's not exactly what... losing information... Like, you can be a single-cell organism and lose you can lose some types of information. You won't go to a fully formed human, but I mean, it's different.
Well, but
it's not the same
it still can't be evidence for evolution, again, because you have no falsifiable viewpoint, right? So, for example, let's take the coelacanth, right? So evolutionists used to believe, because the coelacanth was found in these lower layers, that it's clearly millions and millions of years old, and that it was a precursor to fish because it had what they believed were load fin fish, meaning that fish started off and then their fins became load bearing so that they could eventually start to walk. And the coelacanth looks like it has a little bit of an arm with a fin on the end of it, if you will. If anybody don't know what I'm talking about, you can just look up a picture of a coelacanth. And so, unfortunately for them, they found them alive in the oceans today. You can go fishing for coelacanth, and I think it's off the coast of Florida, if I'm not mistaken. You might be able to go fishing for these things, but they're alive and well today. Let's use it as an example. If you saw the coelacanth in the fossil record, you would say, "Wow, okay, this is a precursor because it has load fin fish." It's a load fin fish. It has fins that look like it can take a load. So that's evolution. It's clearly evolving. If you saw it, gain traits or an appendage or something like that, you would say that's information gain. That's clearly evolution. If it didn't do anything at all, it just stayed where it was at like we see today, then you would say, well, evolution got it there. And if it started losing its arms or its fins, it started shrinking, you would say, oh, that's evolution. So you literally do not have a falsifiable viewpoint. Every which way you see the evidence, you're always going to claim evolution.
Yeah, but that's what evolution is.
That's a religious viewpoint, brother. You don't have a falsifiable viewpoint. A person that comes into a conversation with a religious viewpoint is just going to say nuh-uh no matter what you show them, because they're falsified. They don't have a falsifiable viewpoint.
I'm not saying
it's a religion.
I'm saying that that's what it is.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. Is there any evidence that you could be convinced on that, or what would you have to see to prove evolution is false? What evidence would have to be presented to you to show you that evolution is not real?
From animals. Well, I mean, are we looking at it in like a God-created way, or just
whatever? See, I have evidence that could disprove my position. Again, my evidence that could disprove my position is genetic information gain that's testable and observable, that's not inferred. That could disprove my position. What is your position what evidence could I give you to show you that evolution is not true? Because if I can't use degradation to show you that these things are eventually going to disappear because they're degrading away, if I can't use that and you're still saying that's evolution, then what's your standard?
You're talking about evolution as like they're going to disappear?
I'm saying that is degrading. If it's degrading, like I'm using degradation as an example to show you that can't be evolution because it's degrading. You're saying that degradation is part of evolution. Okay, well, I'm showing you that you don't have a standard.
You're making it sound like there's reasons why there's a loss of information. There's a reason why, right? It's like survival.
Yeah, it's degrading.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason why.
Sure, but they should face a new, if they have a threat, right? Let's say, like, for example, handcuffs, right?
Yep.
Let me make this scenario here. Let me see if you call this evolution or not, okay? Yep. So, because I don't want to be accused of being a racist, in my completely make-believe world, we're going to make a new group of people called the purple people, right? So you have all the different races, and now you have this group of people, they're the purple people. And for whatever reason, all the races get together and say, we want to get rid of the purple people. But clearly we can't just go unalive them because that's against the law. We have to work within our laws, just like science has laws, right? We have to work within the laws of my make-believe world here. So all the races get together and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go handcuff all of the male members of the purple males. We'll throw them back in the back of a paddy wagon and send them to jail. Keep them there for life, okay? The moment you do that, there's no purple males within the population, so the females are only allowed to have children outside of their race, outside of the purple race. Any children that they have that are males are going to instantly be handcuffed, taken to jail. So if you have like a half purple, half white, as long as it's got purple in it, it's going to be handcuffed, taken to jail. That's a purple male. So you see how the trait of being purple is being degraded. It'll eventually go away, right? But one day, right? So yeah, eventually the purple race will go out of existence because you're discouraging that trait, right?
Yeah.
But one day there was a purple boy that was born that didn't have any arms. He did not have the genetic information to create arms. Now, normally this would be a problem because he's not going to be desired amongst the purple females because clearly he don't have any arms. But he's the only purple male left in the population. He's the only one. So suddenly now he's the king of the hill. They come to handcuff him, but they can't handcuff him because he don't have any arms. Well, the law clearly states you have to handcuff him, throw him in the back of a paddy wagon, and send him to prison. This purple boy gets to now populate with many women as he wants. And just to make the math simple, let's imagine that he has 10 children, and all of them are boys. All of them are boys. 5 of them get the trait from their mother, and they have arms. 5 of them get the trait from their father, they don't have any arms. Or they get the lack of the trait from their father, they don't have any arms. The ones with arms are immediately handcuffed, taken to prison, sent to jail. But you got the 5 without arms, now they can replicate, and they have 10 children. Now you see how the trait of not having arms is now being encouraged. So eventually you will have an entire population of purple people without any arms. Yes. Even the females will eventually stop to grow arms because you're discouraging the armed trait. So with that being said, did they evolve?
I mean, they stayed in their. I'm assuming, right? I mean, like what with your saying, I'd assume they're staying in the same like species type, but yeah, right. They did evolve.
And that's my point. Yeah, so that's my point. You don't have a falsifiable viewpoint because you literally they didn't. If they had a new mechanism grow, a new function or a new structure grow outside of their arm, just for this is a silly example, but we're using purple people, right? If a saw blade grew outside of their arm that had the ability to cut the handcuffs in half so you couldn't handcuff them, that would be new information. That would clearly be evolution, right?
Yeah, but
they adapted to overcome.
Is a benefit. That's the point. Their lack of information.
In a very specific scenario, yes, it's a benefit to this, but that's not
scenario. It is still a benefit,
brother.
Because he gets to reproduce in the end, and that's
how can it go. I know, and this is my point that I'm trying to get you to understand too. Okay, if that's evolution, how can it ever go to anything other than if it keeps going this way, if the purple guy keeps evolving like this, he's eventually going to evolve out of existence. Is that the prime example of evolution? Is eventually you just de-exist?
If you keep taking things away from them, but they still have the benefit is if the benefit of the whatever, like degrading or whatever you're talking about, like the degraded, like if the benefit of having the degradation is better than like not having it, then the mutation he'll reproduce and it'll go from his offspring. So it's just a benefit thing. It really matters.
Sure, I would grant you that in this one very slick scenario, that not having arms makes you immune to handcuffs. But is it a benefit to their life overall? In this very select scenario, yes, not having any arms makes you immune. It's a benefit that they get to live, but it's not, brother. It's really not. Losing your arms.
You're saying that then, what's more of a benefit? Not having arms or being, like you said, handcuffed and then put in the back of a car and then sent away? What's more
right? No, I grant it's to this scenario where, brother, I grant you that. I'm agreeing with you that it's better than being unalived. But it's not. You're not gaining any information, and they can't keep going that way. Again, you would agree with me that going from a single-celled organism to a fully functional human, you had to have genetic information gained quadrillions of times. So why is it that we keep hanging so hard on degradation? Why is it that we got to show that degradation? Is that because that's the only evidence that we have for evolution?
Because animals can degrade, they can degrade.
They can degrade, but that's not an example of evolution, though, brother. That's losing information. And again, it's a simple math problem.
No, because evolution, the definition.
Okay. Yeah, how did we get everything we got today? Because we lost it all, teacher. That's how we got it here today.
Well, no. From this first cell, I'm pretty sure, like it was surnamed Luca. From the first cell, we evolved, right? Like,
yeah, this
whatever,
genetic information gain, according to y'all, happened quadrillions of times.
Yes.
And this is
And
why
from
it's
those
so
times-
funny to me that evolution is fight you tooth and nail to keep degrading.
No,
keep
'cause
degradation. Why
sometimes-
would you try to keep that? You're losing information.
No,
You're not
they could
gaining.
because there's a benefit. Like, say a single cell loses information, but at the end of the day, it does benefit, right? But then
Yeah, it's getting better because it's losing its arms.
Yeah. Yeah, the purple person that didn't have arms.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Now,
good now.
all the other races got together and said, okay, you know what? We can't get rid of the purple people because clearly it didn't work. So they get rid of the law and they let all of the purple males out of prison. Now, based on this scenario, do you think that the armed purpled men will be of a higher quality, so they're clearly people will want to mate with them more?
Yeah,
so
but
eventually
when does
now
this
the
happen
armed
in-
trait will come back into example?
When does this happen in nature?
If I know we're using a scenario here, I'm giving you an example. So it's not, and you say it's beneficial. You're only saying it's beneficial because technically it's not beneficial at all. It's only beneficial to the
just
select
because
scenario.
It's like saying like
Okay, bro, I
there was
gotcha.
degradation sorry, I'm lost right now.
Degradation, I got you, man.
Degradation in like these animals, right? And then they died off. But then you brought them back when the law is now switched. It's not really like fair. You know what I mean?
I know. I'm just trying to get you to follow a
I see what
hypothetical,
you
man.
mean.
It's
Like
just,
obviously, yes.
I don't-
Then the
I don't
males
think
will
you
be
do.
of higher value, but not only did you have to bring the theoretical purple people back, but you also had to switch the law, right? And that's why I mean.
yeah, and I think I've made my point that you got, and you're showing here that you're going to fight really hard over degradation to not have to show information gain. It just doesn't make no sense. If evolution was true, they should face a new threat. They should evolve a mechanism over the threat and overcome it. They shouldn't do it by degradation. That's literally not gaining any information. And again, genetic information gain literally has to have happened quadrillions of times. So can we give an example of that that's tested and observable that's not degradation?
What? Sorry.
I was just going over my point again, brother. I think I've got as far as I can go with it.
No, but repeat your question.
I just ask again, can we give any examples of since genetic information gain happened quadrillions of times,
Yes.
can we give an example of genetic information gain that's testable and observable, that's not inferred, and not use degradation?
Like almost every species of, like,
Okay,
you're just asking me, like, animals that have evolved?
Can you give me an example of genetic information gain that's testable and observable that's not inferred?
What do you mean by observable? You have to see
I've already defined that, brother. If you don't have an example of evolution, that's
No,
fine,
but
man. I'm not.
I'm
It's
not
been a good
saying-
conversation. We can just leave
No,
it there.
I
But if you don't have
understand.
any,
I'm just saying, like, observable, like, you want to
Brother,
see it.
he's running host.
I think he's trying to find something.
No,
He's
I'm
fighting
just
really
asking,
hard for
What do
evolution.
you mean by observed?
Okay, I mentioned this earlier. New functions, new structures, new codes, and then I'm the only one that's brought the evidence so far. I even gave you an example of the Linsky experiment, to where they said that it started eating citrate into the environment, and then I showed you how that couldn't count. So I'm really just kind of debating myself at this point.
No, he's stalling for time so he can look at Chat GPT and find out something.
I'm okay with that. I don't even have anybody else coming up, man. So use ChatGPT if you want to.
I understand. No, I guess I'm just not following. So you want an animal or a species that evolved from gaining information whilst
Yeah.
observed.
I'm gonna let you talked about some evolution. I know Azrael wanted to jump in there. Let me step
What's up,
over here for a second.
AZ?
Azrael.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah,
So
brother.
here's the problem with evolution. Great example. According to modern evolutionary biology, we evolved from a common ancestor with chimpanzees and bonobos, um, 6 million years ago. So those same evolutionary biologists say we get two coordinated mutations that become fixed in the population every 3 million years. So it should take 3 million every 3 million years. You're supposed to get two interdependent mutations that become fixed in a population of hominids like humans. So if you're getting two interdependent mutations every 6 million years, every 3 million years, you should have four interdependent mutations after 6 million years of evolution. So if you got four interdependent mutations, how do you explain orphan genes where we have 634 to 2,000 orphan genes that seem to have absolutely no origin anywhere? And why does everyone want to start with a cell? But in truth, evolution starts with chemicals, because you need the chemicals to evolve into, proteins and RNA, and then that needs to evolve into the first cell. That's how that works.
Oh, what happened? Did he leave?
Did we start talking about biology on any type of level where they know they're not going to just fish gallop and say random stuff that don't make any sense, they tend to leave.
Well, I was having a decent conversation with him, but my what I wanted to show before I had to get up for a second. And the reason why I let him stay up obviously so long is, one, because he's welcome on the stage, but two, I wanted you guys in the comments, y'all notice how adamantly and vehemently he defended degradation, right? It's a simple math problem, right? You can't claim evolution is true by losing all of our information. Just doesn't happen.
No.
Yeah.
And like I said, when you notice how they like to start at a cell. They never want to start at chemistry becoming alive on its own. They always want to start at a whole cell, and the cell just appeared, and then evolution started. Because trying to explain how carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur became alive is the stupidest thing in the world, especially since when we put them together, they don't become alive. They don't turn into proteins and RNAs. And I cannot believe that guy the other day on your live who bold-faced lied about the amino acid, the right-handed amino acids being part of proteins. It literally says that bacteria incorporates right-handed amino acids in its cell wall, not in its proteins. And it literally says in its cell wall, not its protein. So it's the matrix of its cell wall. It is not a protein that has these right-handed amino acids in it. He purposely lied. It was so pathetic. And I don't know.
I got you.
It's on
hey,
my
well,
page,
guys,
though.
I do. Oh, is it good? Good. All right. I'm gonna, if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna knock y'all down so I can try to get some more ops up, and then that way it don't look like we're overpowering them. But yeah, I appreciate. Okay. I'm gonna move y'all down, but appreciate y'all coming up, man. Y'all guys give Azrael a follow. I bring him up when I can. He is very smart in, especially DNA. Very smart in DNA. He's very smart, period, but especially DNA. So I usually have him step in when it's a DNA question. So I've seen a question about dinosaurs. Were dinosaurs better than humans ever could be? Were dinosaurs like God's mistakes or something? No, dinosaurs are in the book of Job. So dinosaurs were created on day 6. And then they got off the ark, and then they lasted for a little while, and then most of them couldn't survive the new atmosphere, and were killed off by humans, right? A lot of people called them dragons and stuff like that. So, right. So I love dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. Not every single one of them, but most of my images somewhere will have a dinosaur on it. Love dinosaurs. I think, when I think Christians should use dinosaurs to preach. I mean, God made them, right? So Jesus made everything, so he made dinosaurs. So there's no sense in letting Satan have dinosaurs by claiming that these things are millions or billions of years old. Why did God allow them to die out? Well, he's going to bring them back. It says that the world's going to go back. He's going to create a new heaven and a new earth. So clearly, I think he's going to go back to the way that he created it, right? So I think dinosaurs will clearly walk the earth again one day. The new earth. I don't know about this what we have now. I don't know what happened, man. You come up and then you fell out. So, but why did he allow the dinosaurs to die out though? It's because, one, it says the violence of all flesh was upon God. We clearly see that some dinosaurs were violent before the flood. So the Bible teaches, people can say they don't believe it, but they can't say that the Bible doesn't teach it. The Bible teaches that all the animals before the flood were supposed to be vegetarian. And we do have fossilized remains of dinosaurs literally unaliving each other, right? You got I forget what the kind of triceratop kind, the smaller triceratoid or whatever you call it. It's in a fight with a velociraptor, and the velociraptor literally has its claw in its neck, right? So they were clearly, destroying each other. And then you have fossilized remains of dinosaurs inside of other dinosaurs, showing that they were eating each other when they were not supposed to or allowed to. Now, after the flood, I think because of the atmospheric conditions, I think that most animals probably couldn't get, not most of them, but a lot of animals couldn't get a lot of protein in because of the conditions changed. So then that's when God gave them permission to eat meat. Yeah, I clearly think they will be. Again, God made this earth not to be, no violence in it. Obviously, he made it perfect. And then when Adam sinned, that's what caused Newton's second law of thermodynamics to kick in, and that's where you get the problems from. So I think we can deduce or inference that when God creates the new heaven and new earth, again, the Bible says we're not made for heaven. We're not going to live in heaven forever. That's not made for us. The heaven's made for the angels, right? Hell's not made for us either. Hell was made for the fallen angels. So earth was made for humans. So you're not going to, when you unalive and you go to heaven, if you believe in Jesus, right, you go to heaven, you're not going to live there forever. That's not how it works. You're going to get a new body, and you're going to live on a new earth. So clearly, I do believe that obviously God will make it back the way that he intended it to begin with. And it had dinosaurs in it the first time, so I don't know why it wouldn't have dinosaurs the second time. So, all right, guys, do me a favor and hit the heart and share. Let's try to get some ops in here. If not, I'm not going to sit up here and talk to myself the whole time. I am trying this new format out to where I control the live a little bit smaller. I've already got a little bit of feedback from Nathan. If you guys want to come up and give me some feedback, I got no problem with that. I encourage that. I want to hear what the thought process is. Jason, what's up, bro? Oh, well, you're still loading in. And he dropped. I hope TikTok's not doing that thing because I've had like 3 people in a row now drop. Usually when this happens, I have to reset the live. Okay, accident. Okay, I got you. All right. Okay, good. Because usually when that happens, I got to like reset the live. But anyway, like I said, if you guys like the new format, let me know. If you don't like the new format, let me know. So, one-on-ones also. Area Azrael's got too complex. You keep it simple, thanks. Azrael, you're smarter. You're too smart for me, man. No, I do. Azrael's very smart. I like to look at it from a teaching perspective. And I use Azrael as my hammer. And I use him to club other people over the head that think they're really smart. And that's a compliment if you're still listening, Azrael. That's an absolute compliment. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So I think what I'll do is I'll start the lives off like this, and then maybe towards the end of the live I'll open it up to Christians so they can come up and then ask questions or get involved maybe that way. So I'm thinking I'm still kind of evolving, if you will, this method. But it's going to be slow. It's a Friday. Most people are out running around. So I'm going to give this more, I'm going to go on vacation. When I get back, I'll try this live out a couple more times like this. It's probably going to stick around for a while, though, just because I am growing, and I do appreciate that from you guys. All right, so with that being said, since I'm not getting any engagement, what I will do is I will open it up to Christians, and anybody that has any questions, come on up, and then I'll start to dwindle the live down and call it a night. But if you have any questions or want to make any comments, then come on up. If not, then I'll start to get ready to call it a night. I'd like to know, how can we back up that claim that those full skeletons, aka fossils? I had a question for him. Azrael, if you're still in here, you got Benji has a question for you. So if you're still in here, you can come up. He does like to float. Azrael floats between a couple different TikToks every now and again. Okay. Mr. Allen, if you're still in here, I need you to come up because I don't want to break tradition, man. You got to get the last word, brother. Bro, look as low IQ as you. Well, I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you, sir. All right, guys, I do appreciate the stickers that everybody gives me, the money that they put in my what's it called? I actually created it because somebody said they wanted to come in here one time and throw a little cash on me because they thought they liked the content, but they didn't buy the stickers and stuff. Was it PayPal? Sorry. So the individuals that give to that, I really do appreciate it, and the individuals that throw me stickers and stuff, I don't always have time to say thank you in the middle of the comment or the middle of a debate or something like that, but it doesn't go unnoticed, and I do appreciate it. Benji, what's up, brother?
Hey, man, how's it going?
Man, hanging in there, brother, hanging in there.
Hanging in there?
Yes, sir.
Why the heck you shave off that beard? Why?
My work, it's coming back, man. I hate it. My work, I have to get fit tested for like an N95 mask for because if I have to be around people that's got tuberculosis, and I have to be for a gas mask. So when I get fitted for both of those things, then I have to shave.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm part of a.
No, what? Go ahead. What was I say?
Oh no, I was going to say I'm part of a SWAT team, and that's what I have to every year. I have to go requalify with those. Even though I can put a gas mask on with my beard on because I don't allow my beard to get. Per the departmental policy, I have to shave it. So
sure.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I was going to ask Azrael, but maybe you know something about this. I kind of started reading about this, and it's super fascinating. Even, it's got some implications, I think, for the evolution versus, young earth creationism debate, or it's just fascinating stuff. And that was the Bennu asteroid mission. Are you familiar with that? Have you read about that at all?
Is that is that the one where they went and looked for amino acids, where they landed on it and drilled in it?
Yeah, I think it was. I think its pod came back in 2023, and just in March of 2026, there was some publications about what they found on Bennu, and it's a really small sample, but very, very interesting stuff. Basically, they found 14 of the 20 amino acids that we find here on Earth, and all 5 nucleobases that make up our RNA and DNA, as well as a variety of simple sugars, including glucose, and I think tens of thousands of organic compounds, which, I mean, you got to admit, that is fascinating stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What is that doing?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, of course, yeah.
Well, so my argument would be this. One, I don't know, but I would like to know because I don't think that we know every single where these rocks come from. I do think that a lot of this stuff can escape from Earth. So I think a lot of this stuff happened in the flood. Like, say, for example, when the fountains of the deep broke open, I think that the water shot. This is called the Hovind theory. It's not even my theory, but I think it fits the evidence the best. That the water that was so pressurized clearly would reach escape velocity and actually go out into space. This is why we see the craters on the near side of the moon. If something's coming towards the Earth, there shouldn't be any craters on the near side of the moon because the gravitational of the Earth is going to pull it in. So you'd have a hard time explaining how something went past the moon, then the gravity of the moon causes it to stop and then come back and hit the side we're on. The side that faces us, obviously, because the moon's tidal locked. But there's clear craters on the moon on the tidal lock side that faces us. I think this heavily implies to me that whatever caused those craters came from the Earth. So I think this happened in Noah's flood. I think that this is the reason that Mars has a trench. It has a Grand Canyon like the Earth. I think that the water that clearly escaped out into space when the fountains of the deep broke open, I think that it sideswiped Mars, and this caused the crater on Mars. And I also think that it causes the rings on Saturn. If you look at scientists, what they say about the rings of Saturn is that the rings are too white. So they try to come up with these different theories because if the rings are really old, they should accumulate what they call space dust. And so the rings shouldn't be shiny white. The fact that they're shiny white implies that there's not a lot of space dust that's accumulating on them. So it either means they're young or you have to have a mechanism that knocks off the dust. And so they're clearly trying to say that they're bumping into each other and stuff like this, and this is what's knocking the space dust off of the ice, which I think is a terrible theory because the space dust should be traveling literally at the same velocity of the ice because it's in a vacuum. But that's their theory. I think that fits. I said that to say this, that when that happened, if we ever find
Can I just ask a real quick question? You call it the Hovind theory, as in Kent Hovind?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't he found guilty of being a con man, beating his wife, and multiple other things? And it shouldn't be called a theory because it is not supported by any form of or body of evidence. It's a hypothesis.
I just gave you that, and that's literally what the definition of a theory is. Now you can. Okay, brother, you can contend with the evidence that. Hold on, brother. Wait. So what's gonna? Yeah, I know you can sigh, but you're coming up here. You're throwing so many accusations out, and then you're trying to see which one of them sticks.
He was found guilty of things like wife beating.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
Give me where did he get found guilty of wife beating?
In a court of law.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't. He got his wife. Okay, man. What source are you looking at? Give me the source. His wife accused him of. His wife accused him of pushing him down.
I can't remember the state.
Or pushing her down or whatever. But
yeah, he his wife.
Okay.
And he was found guilty of it. And he was also arrested multiple times for being a con man.
Joe Swanson. I hope everyone has a good
Joe
and a good weekend too.
Thank you, man.
Joe Swanson.
All right, so Kent Hovind was found guilty, and he did go to prison. It was not for wife beating.
It was
for being a con man that he actually went to prison for.
No, it wasn't. It was for structuring. If you don't know what it is, please don't sound uneducated. He got sent to prison for structuring, not being a con man. Now I can tell you the actual evidence. I'm not misrepresenting it. He went to prison for 10 years for structuring. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Benji, you were interrupted. Go ahead.
Accounts of being a con man, and now you're relating this theory, which is a hypothesis because it's not. All right,
here's what we got.
By any body of evidence.
Here's what.
It's supported by his assumptions.
Nope. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to support those claims one at a time, or you got to go.
You too.
Support your claim one at a time, or you got to go. I want to know where you're getting that he was found guilty of wife beating. Show me that. Where was it?
What state's he from? I can't remember. Off the top of my head.
You know the evidence. Give me the evidence. You're coming up here making the claim now. Support your claim.
I want to go and search the court docket.
Okay,
so
go search it out. Get off my stage and go search it out. If you're not ready, why did you even come up here and make all of these claims you're not ready to support? That's what stupid people do. So look, I've never met Kent Hovind. I've listened to him. I think he's a great man. I do. I agree with him on a lot of things. I disagree with him on some things. I'm not saying this because me and him are boys and we go hang out together. What you're saying is factually inaccurate. Now, his wife did come out and claim that he pushed her down or something like that. And then he's fought that with audio evidence, right, of the same thing. So they're going back and forth in court. I don't think that he was found guilty. Maybe he was. You can bring me that evidence. Unfortunately, because I've started my own ministry now, I don't have time to listen to him as much as I used to. So is it possible that because they were battling that out in court and that he's lost that court case? Yeah, maybe that's possible. But the accusation of she pushed him and he beats his wife is not the same thing, brother. That's not the same thing. So you're making all these accusations that he got caught for fraud. No, he didn't. He got caught for structuring, right? And you're free to look this up. Everybody else is too. So structuring is a law that they made for. And I know this because I'm in law enforcement too. This is a law that they made in an effort to get gangsters and stuff like that, because what happens is if you go take out installments of cash less than $10,000, then you don't have to report it to the federal government. So it's like tax evasion. So what was happening is gangsters were going and doing this. They were structuring the amount of money they were taking out of the banks not to have to go over $10,000, so they didn't have to report it to the government. Kent Hovind had a ministry, and according to him, I don't know. He could be 100% doing this wrong. I don't know. But according to him, is that he had lawyers working for his ministry also, and they were telling him to take it out less than $10,000 to pay your bills. That's what he was doing. He was taking his money out of his bank account to pay for the ministry that he was doing, and he took it out of increments in less than $10,000. That's what he was found guilty of, and that's what he got charged with, and that's what he went to jail with. Now, you can say that he did that on purpose. Okay, I don't know. I don't know the man personally. Maybe he did. But it's not the same accusations that you're making. It's just ridiculous. Go do your research, come back, and then be ready to debate. Don't come up here and make a bunch of accusations and not be ready. Benji, I'm sorry that you were interrupted, man. What do you got?
Oh, no, that's okay. I'd caution you, though, for sticking up for Kent Hovind on a personal level that much, though. That guy's a little shady. You have to admit.
Well, shady about what?
Well, yeah, he was convicted of 58 felonies and went to prison for 9 years.
Yeah, but on a structuring charge, gangsters don't even get that much time. I think it's crazy that the man... Right. So here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say unequivocally. If he did it on purpose to where he was deliberately trying not to pay taxes, if that's true, I don't know the man's heart. If that's true, sure, that's shady, and he should get in trouble for it. 10 years in prison for taking money out of your own account? I can look at this and determine that they're doing this on a Christian man. They do this. They wrote this law for gangsters. They don't go do this against the gangsters don't get this much time. Why is Kent Hovind getting 10 years for structuring?
Well, it's because I think it was because of the 800,000 plus of tax avoidance, which he did, which really opened my eyes on how much.
Well, he didn't get charged with tax avoidance. He got charged with structuring.
$800,000 in taxes. It's incredible.
Well, I don't know about the taxes. I have looked into it. That's why I know that's why I can literally tell you the name of the charge. It's structuring. If he got charged with something else recently I don't know about, that's fine.
He had 58 charges, brother.
Is it still structuring though? That's what he got.
Okay. All right. I'm
not either. I just want to make sure that I want to make sure that we're putting the evidence out there correctly. I'm not an expert on Kent Hovind. I'm not. But I did follow him for a long time and listen to him when I could before I started my own ministry. And my thing is now is that he was found guilty and he was charged with structuring. Now, if you think that that's reasonable, okay, I got no problem with that. If he was actually doing it on purpose to be malicious, then he should be charged with it. My point is 10 years in prison for structuring, I think that's a little bit rough.
That's because it was a lot more than structure. He is 58.
Okay, what was...
Just go on Wikipedia. Yeah, if you want to.
Sure.
And look, when I'm saying that, I don't know. I don't think people should necessarily judge his arguments based on his past and the crimes he may or may not have committed or whatnot. I think the argument should stand on them on their own merit. So I'm not for slamming people, but I just maybe caution you a little bit sticking up for the guy because he did commit various crimes.
Well, I will say the truth regardless of who it is. Regardless. And if I don't know, I'll say I don't know. Now, honestly, I don't know. Now, when I done a Google search on this, it does say that in 2007, he received 10 years in federal prison for 12 counts of willful failure to collect, account for, or pay over or payroll tax. This is attached to the structuring charge. He got 45 counts of structuring, which is taking out withdrawals under $10,000. So it's the structuring account. That's what they got him for. And he was literally taking it out to make the payroll tax for his ministry. So that it is the same thing that I said. You are right. You are correct to say that it's 58 felonies, but it's still the same. It's still the same count of what he's getting hit with. They added it on. The structuring was taking the money out less than $10,000. So he wouldn't have to report it to the federal government. That's true. Yeah, and he was going to pay his employees with that. So they're saying they hit him with two different charges for the same offense.
And I don't know if I've looked into Kent Hovind a little bit, and he's a very outspoken proponent of basically not paying taxes. And I know where he's coming from. I don't want to pay taxes either, but he is one of those guys. So
he does. He has a, and see this again, I don't want it to make it like I'm taking up for this guy, but again, I'm trying to be honest with people. I wouldn't live the way that he lives, but he lives by faith, and he's went and had his Social Security number removed so that he wouldn't have to. He don't live off the government. He's not going to get a government paycheck because there is a way you can do it. Evidently, I'm not aware of it, but you can opt out of Social Security. You have to jump through a bunch of hoops, but you can opt out of Social Security. He's one of those individuals, to the best of my knowledge. And he has a ministry to where he lives at the place. And a lot of people say that he's like a sovereign citizen. I don't think I've met sovereign citizens. I promise you, Kent Hovind is not a sovereign citizen. If you've ever met a sovereign citizen, you know that he's not one. I do think that, he does things different than I would do, but what I can determine is that the man is extremely educated in the Bible. He's extremely educated in evolution, and it's clear to me that they overcharged him in an effort to get him, in my opinion, let me say that very clearly, I think they wanted to get him out of the debate scene because back in the day, Kent Hovind was the guy that was going to the universities, and you can go look this up for yourself. He did 3-on-1s, first evolution. This is what got me hooked on creation versus evolution. Is he went to the colleges themselves, and he utterly destroyed these guys. Utterly destroyed him. It was 3 against 1 is probably his most famous debate. Now that he's gotten out of prison, he's restarted up his ministry, and now he can't find anybody worth any while to debate him because people go, "You're this felon." So I think it was, the Bible tells us that you will be persecuted for preaching against God, or for God, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that's what's happening. I'm not laughing. I have a cough. I'm sorry.
No, I got you. I understand. And look, like I said, I don't know the man's heart. So I want to make sure that people know this. Could he have been doing this in an effort to not pay taxes? Absolutely. He could have. I still think that 10 years in federal prison for taking out your own money out of your own bank account is rough. Now, there are laws. We got to follow the laws. But that law was clearly made for gangsters, not preachers. But the law's the law for everybody, rich, poor, white, black, Hispanic, whatever, the law's the law. So he should follow the law. But 10 years, I clearly think that there was more involved in behind the scenes in that 10 years. I think that's a little bit ridiculous in federal prison for tax evasion. We can agree to disagree, but that's still ridiculous.
Well, not to sidetrack the debate, but I'm not a big fan of jail or prison in general. Do you know that jail and prison aren't really found in the Bible?
Right. And Ken Hovind wrote a book about that.
Yeah, I didn't know he said that, but I'm generally not a big fan of jail and prison sentences for like non-violent offenders. Like to your point about Ken Hovind and his structuring or whatnot, I think that could be settled through being paid fines, being paid what's owed under the law or something along those lines. I would completely agree that I don't think that guy or people like him or even the Martha Stewart, which I'm sure would be an unpopular opinion, I don't think they should be on taxpayer dollar in federal prison for years. They're not really a danger to society. They're just kind of doing some.
Well, the Bible sets out the rules for it.
Finances,
if you steal it, you have to pay him back sevenfold. So if Kent Hovind was dodging taxes, then make him pay 7 times what he owed the government's not making any money by now having to put him behind bars. So what's the purpose?
I completely agree with that side.
That's why I think there was a little bit something more behind put him in prison for 10 years over. And it's not like the guy's making millions or billions of dollars. You know what I mean?
It might have been something. I don't know, brother. Hey, back to my original thing here, and then I'll drop it.
Sure.
I'd love to engage Azrael a little bit on this sometime when he's up, because the Bennu findings, I listened to a podcast of the NASA director who was in charge of the sampling of the asteroid and analysis of its materials, and it's super fascinating stuff, and they do have pretty conclusive evidence that it's not Earth originated, and it has to do with the compounds that they found. But that's kind of maybe more of a technical discussion. I was curious if he'd looked into it at all. But anyway,
I don't know.
That's all I had to say.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate it as always.
Yeah, you bet.
Yep. Is it Chris? Chris not found.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, just one quick question. So whenever I...
Oh, you muted up. I can't hear you when you're muted up, brother.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying... So whenever I go to Google, why do I see that there is no empirical evidence for the existence of a great flood, or for that matter, any of the events that occurred in the Bible?
Well, I don't. Would that make it true if Google said it's not true?
No, but it's because of the empirical evidence that there's no like geological, archaeological,
sure there is,
scientific,
sure there
or
is.
any.
Sure there is.
Right, but it's not like definitive. Like you can have evidence for anything.
No, so I can show you. So okay, hydrologic sorting, polystrata fossils, dinosaur bone beds, soft tissue, and DNA fragments found in dinosaurs. All of these fit the flood model. None of them fit the evolutionary model.
To you or?
No, it's not to me. Okay, let me go over one at a time. You got hydrologic sorting. This is testable and observable science. You can put clay, dirt, sand, water inside of a jar, shake it up, and it's going to form layers. You can buy this toy at Walmart, right? It's usually got water in it with a bunch of different colored sands. You can flip it upside down, and it causes it to come out into layers. This is called hydrologic sorting. We literally see this all over the planet. Not local little floods here and there. We literally see hydrologic sorting all over the planet. So much so that I can make a prediction right now that if you're standing on dry ground and not bedrock, obviously, that you can take a core sample of wherever you're at, and you're going to find evidence of those layering. That happens in water. Again, it's called hydrologic sorting. Okay, now if you want to say that these layers are different ages like the geologists do, they say that this layer took 65 million years to form and it's 4 million years older than this layer, which took 2 more million years to form on top of that, right? They say each one of these layers are millions of years apart from each other. You got what they call polystrate fossils. Polystrate fossils are usually trees. Sometimes they're organisms or animals, but most of the time they're trees. And they're fossilized trees that go through many different layers. These layers literally cannot be millions of years apart if you have a tree fossilized in between them. That tree didn't sit there for millions of years while sediment slowly formed around it, right? We saw how these were formed in Mount St. Helens when it blew the trees into Spirit Lake. We saw that the trees started to float, they started to get waterlogged, and then they sunk down, The trees that were still floating over top of them kept knocking bark and stuff off, which caused a sediment layer to form around them. So we saw how these sediment layers formed in real time and how polystrate fossils were formed in real time. And again, polystrate fossils are found all over the world. You got soft tissue found in dinosaur bones. You got DNA found in dinosaurs. If dinosaurs are 60, the flood model says that they unalived in a flood, and they got laid down in a flood in these huge graveyards. The Morrison Formation goes all the way from Mexico all the way up to Canada and covers the right down the middle of the United States. That's how big this one dinosaur boneyard is. So Occam's razor says we take the answer that has the least amount of assumptions is usually the correct answer. So is it more likely that these dinosaurs of the same body density type kept going to this swampy area, unaliving, decaying, and then covered up with a flood? And do you know how much? It had to be a pretty significant flood, because a Triceratops, even laying on its side, unalive, would still probably be about 5 or 6 foot tall. So that takes a very significant flood to cover that animal up, even on its side, with sediment. You need that to happen, because if any of the animal is exposed to the air or to the water, then the organisms inside of it are still going to live, and they're just going to eat it away, right? Like fish don't fossilize today. If I unalive, if my dog unalives and I take it out in the backyard and bury it, it's not going to fossilize. And the reason why is because the oxygen content's not being cut off. Then you need the mineralization to replace the bones with mineralization, right? So is it more likely that this happened independently with each one of these dinosaurs over millions of years, or is it more likely that they unalived in a flood, floated around for a couple of months, started to decay, and as the flood waters receded, they got laid down in a huge bone bed, which is what we would see in a flood. Flood sorts things out. I can show you the largest trash heap that's still out in the Atlantic today and show you how it sorts things out. So it would push all these dinosaurs together in these huge graveyards. It would lay them down, and then sediment would wash over top of them, causing them to fossilize. So Occam's razor shows that the fossil bone beds fit the flood model. The fact that you're finding soft tissue and dinosaur DNA also shows that they're not 65 million years old. We know what the degradation rates of collagen is, and we know what the degradation rates of DNA is. So the fact that we're still finding soft tissue and DNA in these things clearly show that they did not live 65 million years ago.
Yeah, okay. But if you're affirming, I don't know if I can grant you all of that stuff you just said, just because of how I don't have much information on the whole matter. However, you are affirming that this happened. So would you affirm that the other events described in the Bible also happened, such as the parting of the Red Sea, or Jonah being eaten by the big fish or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and then would there be evidence for that, or would you just believe in me?
Yeah, so, well, some things there wouldn't be evidence for, like if it's some things, but the crossing of the Red Sea, yeah. So we actually talked about the individual earlier. If you want to go look this up, you can. There's plenty of evidence to show where the Israelites, where they left Egypt, the path that they actually took, the beach that they were on. The Bible describes some things. It says that Jesus was in the pillar of fire, right? It says that a cloud followed them by day, and then a pillar of fire by night. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Hello?
Oh, are you doing live or no?
Yeah, I'm doing one right now.
Oh, are you almost done?
Yeah, I'll start wrapping it up.
All right, I'll be home in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so it says that a cloud followed them by day and a pillar of fire by night. So if there was a pillar of fire that come down and blocked the Egyptians from chasing the Israelites until they crossed the water, then, hey, we should expect to see some evidence of this. And sure enough, you can go to that beach that could hold millions of people on it. You can look at it from satellite. You can look at that area right there, and there's glass, and you can tell when glass is made from heat or by a lightning strike. Like, for example, you can find glass on a beach just walking down the beach. If lightning strikes the sand, it'll turn it into glass, but it's a very specific kind of glass, and it doesn't turn all of it into glass clearly. So you can see huge sheets of glass where the fire stayed right there on the beach. So something clearly caused that. You can see that there's clearly a pathway going across the Red Sea there. On this side it's very deep, and on this side it's very deep, but here's one land bridge that goes across that's just under the water. And then when you go under the water, you can find chariot wheels and things like this where the water come back and collapsed in and killed the Egyptians. So there's evidence that. And then you can go to the place where they had the golden calf. That it says that while Moses went to Mount Sinai, you can literally look at the top of that mountain. Now, it's not the Mount Sinai that we see today because they renamed another mountain Mount Sinai. But the Mount Sinai of the Bible, you can go there and you can see the top of that mountain is black. And it's not like shadow, it's black. Something come down on top of that mountain and caused the whole top of the mountain to be scorched. Clearly, this is where the presence of God come down on top of that mountain, right? This is where Moses got the 10 Commandments. At the bottom of that mountain, let me say this real quick and I'll land. At the bottom of that mountain, you can see where the Israelites were having a golden calf, right? They took the earrings and stuff like that out of each other, and they were building a golden calf. So they literally carved pictures of calves, like golden, like the Egyptian bull on the side of this rock. So it shows that they were there clearly.
Okay, and then last thing, what are your thoughts on Ron Wyatt? Like all of his claims that he did.
Well, that's the person that I just told you. Go to his website. The things that I just mentioned were actually found by him. Now, I said this earlier, his earlier work is amazing. It's testable. It's provable. You can look at it for yourself. And then other people, you can look at where other people that went there taking the same picture. So it's not like he faked it or anything, right? You can actually look there. So I think personally, I clearly believe him because I can look at the stuff that he's found and I can test and observe it, right? A lot of the stuff that, if I'm not mistaken, the Pillar of Solomon, the government went and removed it after he claimed that he found it and took pictures with it. So there's pictures of him standing beside of it. There's a lot of people, and Solomon erected the pillar to show that this is where the children of Israel crossed the Red Sea. And now the governments, if I'm not mistaken, went and removed that pillar because he made it quote unquote famous. You can go to Sodom and Gomorrah and you can pick the sulfur balls out of the side of the rock that's still there, right? When it said that God rained down fire and brimstone, you can still go there to this day and pick the sulfur balls and light them on fire because they're still there, and it's where God rained down fire and brimstone, Sodom and Gomorrah. Now I say that to say this: his older stuff, on the things that he backs up his claims on, I trust him on. It's hard for me to support claims that I can't. I just had to take his word for. Like, for example, he's claimed that he found the Ark of the Covenant. Well, there's no way for me to support that because I don't have any evidence. He doesn't have any physical evidence. It's nothing other than him just saying that he found it. So I trust him on the things that he supports, and I just don't know on the things that he doesn't. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'll definitely keep looking more onto it.
Yeah, man. So the reason why I do this is because I want to strengthen the faith of the Christians, and I want to share Christ with those that's not saved. So before you go, man, my question to you is, do you know Jesus, bro?
Yes, but I take more of the stance of an agnostic theist.
Okay. Well, listen, man, I'm not going to shove it down your throat or anything, but the reason why I do this is because I want to share Jesus with you, man. He unalived for you, for your sins, that you can go to heaven scot-free. All you got to do is just accept him into your heart. Confess with your mouth, believe in your heart. That's all you got to do is go to heaven. So do me a favor, give me a follow. If you have any additional questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I might not have all the answers, but at least I'll try. But know that I'm out to get you, man. I'm going to try to get you saved.
Thank you, man.
All right, brother. I appreciate you.
I'll come back some other day whenever you're live again, because I've seen you pretty often.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, all right. God bless.
All right, man. God bless, brother. All right, guys. I got that phone call. That was the wife. That's why, if some of the people that's been accepting up, I no disrespect, or I didn't want to have you come up and then not be able to answer questions or anything. But that was the wife, and that was the boss. She's on her way home, so I had a limited time, so I got to pack up and stuff and get ready for this little vacay I'm doing next week. So I won't be on. So as always, everyone that gives, like I said earlier, if you give the stickers and stuff like that, I really appreciate it. I never ask for money. I'm not going to ask for money. But I just want to thank the people that gives me the stickers and slides a couple dollars in my PayPal and stuff like that. I really appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed. Sometimes I don't have the ability to stop what I'm doing and thank everyone that's giving at the time while they're giving. Like right now, Dane, I appreciate you. everyone that does that, thank you. It doesn't go unnoticed. It's from the bottom of my heart. It's gratitude, and I'm putting it right back into the ministry. Right, I'm saving up. I buy mics with it. I buy some lights over here. I'm going to eventually get some newer computers and some stuff, and I'm going to put it right back into the ministry to make it better. So that I can entertain and soul save. Mainly soul save. That's really what I want to do. Strengthen the faith of the Christians, and if you're not saved, I want to try to get you saved. But like I said, I will be on vacation next week, so I usually go live Mondays and Thursdays, and then randomly when I can. So I leave Sundays, so it depends on what I'm doing tomorrow. I might be on or not, but after Sunday, you're not going to see me for a week. So I appreciate it. Thank you, and as always, Mr. Allen, you get the last word.
Okay, I do want you to be aware of this. I could hear her voice over the phone when you took your phone call. So
okay.
I want you to be aware of that, and my sister-in-law.
Yeah, she might.
And my sister-in-law is at the emergency room. She's having chest pains. I want everyone to pray for her that she'd be all right.
Oh yeah, let's lift his sister. What's her name?
Barbara.
Okay, I'll definitely say a prayer for Barbara.
Okay. And as always, God bless you and stay safe on that vacation.
All right. Thank you guys. Y'all have a good one.